Well, good morning, everybody, or good evening. Depends on where you are in the world. Welcome back to the Oceania F1 Invitational. Great to be back here, folks, and back on the F1 game, as always, wherever you're watching in the world. It's a pleasure to have each and every single one of you along for the ride. We're going to be taking you through a 50% race, but first of all, a full smattering of qualifying as well. My name, if you don't know, is George Morgan, of course, commentator. Alongside me as well, Jaden Oakley, one of the home nation's finest. How you doing, Jaden? You keeping well?
Yeah, fantastic, George. And yeah, it's exciting to be here. Going to be a great night. All the best drivers in the one place in Oceania tonight. So can't wait to get underway.
Some fantastic names indeed. And for the first time, obviously, this season, of course, we get underway with racing, but not just that. We are going to be heading to the famous and illustrious Spa Francorchamp circuit. Of course, a lot of history here. Over 102 years old, this very circuit. Absolutely fantastic. Has had a long legacy in Formula One. The current layout has existed from 2007 right through to the present day, though it has had a few amendments in recent years as well, most notably heading around the Jackie X bend. But we have got plenty of top drivers competing in this race tonight, and obviously getting off to a good start is absolutely essential here, Jaden. Just talk us through what's on the line tonight.
Oh, yeah, it's a massive night. Spa, obviously one of the most iconic motorsport tracks on the calendar, so it's great to get it underway here tonight. And yeah, plenty on the line, and plenty of great drivers as well that can't wait to see get underway as well.
Yeah, is there any drivers in particular that you have taken of note? Anyone in particular that you like the look of? Anyone that you think could really pull apart this field today?
Oh, well, obviously Jack Humphrey's the man. The myth,
I'm glad you said that.
Dominated last time out. Yeah, no, he was fantastic last time out, and I think we can expect much more from him tonight as well.
Yeah, definitely. I'm glad you said that, because obviously, I'm not sure whether you know whether any of you know, I am, of course, the team boss of Intrepid Esports, and he is one of our own talents as well. You know, no favoritism, I can assure you. I'm very neutral,
yep.
But nonetheless, go Jack. But yeah, looking forward to tonight. It's going to be great. Obviously, looking forward. Obviously, we've come a long way, haven't we, Jaden? Coming up to this point now, we've got yet another championship underway. Great to have the collective of leagues coming together to support the Oceania Invitational F1 event. It's certainly been very special organising this one. I know that obviously Slammer puts a lot of work into this, and it's great to see him. Just with some of the names that we've got representing, many of them adopted from teams, not just Intrepid Esports, but also ET8, TF10, some of the biggest names you'll ever see. ELR as well, which is obviously, not ELR, sorry, NLR, which is another team that many people would be aware of in team events across the F1 game. But yes, all of them coming together tonight and over the entire region of Oceania. It's just fantastic to see, and it is a growing section of the F1 universe, and we are hopefully going to see it rise higher and higher as we look to pursue perhaps these drivers then taking a forefront in the world of F1 esports and F1 esports challenges for that matter as well. Of course, we've got a couple of drivers in tonight that would have essentially qualified for challenges last season and essentially this season as well. Obviously still a lot of mystery surrounding where F1 esports is going at the moment, but still nonetheless great to see these talents coming to the forefront. And now, obviously, with this championship well and truly underway, folks, we've got 4 events that is going to take us into the end of the year. Of course, we're going to crown a champion as well, and there is an official F1 point system as well, just a standard one that appeals across the board. 25 points going to the winner, with 18 for second, 15 for third, and so on, all the way down to P10, where you get a single point for finishing there. But you also get a point for fastest lap as well. So very important, because obviously it's only 4 events, Jaden. You need to maximise everything in those 4 events. If you don't, then you can consider your championship charge done.
Yeah, it's so important. 4 events only. So this first one tonight's going to be absolutely crucial. You want to get started on the right foot, and yeah, that's what all the drivers will be looking to do tonight for sure.
Definitely, and obviously qualifying is imperative. You know, while Spa Francorchamp opens up with opportunity, it's one of the most highly varied tracks on the calendar in the F1 world, because obviously you've got so many different corners. One of the longest circuits as well on the calendar too, because obviously, you know, it extends to around 7.004 kilometers. So, you know, at the end of the day, one of the longest tracks on the calendar. We talk about the variances. Obviously, the first sector perhaps being, the first and third sectors being probably the most the quickest, sectors on the circuit. You've then got the more technical sector 2, where you sort of extrapolate the likes of Pouan heading down in towards the Lafanier chicane, not to mention the Campus and Stavelo section heading through towards Corbeil-Paul Frere. Those are some very key areas where drivers can certainly, gain time, benefit in qualifying, get some extra delta behind them, but also open up doors to perhaps making moves as well heading in towards Sector 3. So that could be the major sticking point. Where do you think it's going to be won or lost tonight, Jaden?
Yeah, well, obviously, qualifying's so important, especially on this track. It's, as you said, longest lap, one of the longest laps on the F1 calendar. So it means it's very easy to have a moment, a break concentration that could cost you a few positions. So I think that's obviously important, but the race is where it's all won. So a lot of drivers will be looking to make their way through, not just at the start, but just pushing their way through all the way to the end. And so it's going to be a good test for the drivers here today.
Absolutely will be. And obviously you, chat, can get involved as well. We will be asking you to vote for your driver of the day later on into the night, so sit tight and you can place your vote. But we also want to get you guys involved as well in another way. Why not follow the channel? Stay up to date with everything here at the F1 Oceania Invitational. Of course, it's the championship, a very high-profile championship now in the Oceania regions, and to have all the teams coming together, all the leagues coming together as well, it's fantastic. A real force behind, of course, the build-up of esports and sim racing here in the Australian and New Zealand region. So big thank you to each and every single one of you for tuning in as well. Be sure to tell your friends. Why not get everyone else involved too? Share it on social media, folks, of course, and get involved. There is a Discord server. You can also join that and stay up to date with everything that's going on. It's obviously a pleasure to be here as well. Qualifying will be underway very soon. Full quali format here, Jaden, as well. Looking forward to that. Obviously, Q1, Q2, Q3. Bottom 5 get eliminated in the first 2 sessions. Then we have the pole shootout in Q3 as well, which is certainly going to be a very feisty affair for all drivers involved. And it's imperative to be confident. It's imperative to be on point, especially, like we said, a long circuit. You couldn't have probably a worse circuit for a driver to get started on than Spa Francorchamp. Just given the fact that we've got the variation, you're coming into this championship for the first time under pressure. It's a different beast. Obviously, Oceania itself, being the champion of this particular series, is massive. Certainly for many of these drivers. It's respectability. It's grandeur. Everything about it means something. How important is tonight in terms of getting a good start? How important is qualifying, getting underway in Q1 and Q2?
No, yeah, you're absolutely right. And a lot of drivers might not be tested under the this full qualifying system. So you've really got to make sure you get those laps in consistently. It can't just be you put one together right at the end, because if you can't get your way through Q1, then it's too late and you're stuck in the bottom 5. So it's all going to be about consistently being able to push to the limit. And that's what they've got to do tonight. It's a huge uphill challenge, but that's what we're here to do. It's the biggest event in Oceania, so they've got to be ready to go.
They do. They absolutely have to be ready to go. And obviously the laps are going to be flying in, folks. Obviously, like we said, Q1, Q2, Q3. What a system. It's obviously very entertaining. The bottom 5 getting eliminated in Q1 and Q2. There's going to be plenty of thrills and spills, I can assure you. Let us know as well in the live chat who you are supporting tonight. We want to hear as to who you're backing. Obviously, like I said, we like to get you guys involved. The live chat, obviously imperative. Stay up to date with what we're doing as well. Obviously, I've been asking Jaden what his thoughts are. He thinks Jack Humphreys is the man to watch. I think he could be right. We'll have to wait and see whether he can apply the same trades that have actually brought him to the dance in terms of being a fantastic talent in terms of league racing in itself. And coming off the back of the EO1 series as well, which he has taken part in. Obviously, that's since closed down now for the PC division, unfortunately. It was a big shame, in fact. Jack Humphreys, though, was the last man to take pole position at EOR on that occasion. But here coming this time, looking to compete at the very top. Now, is it the case if you want to win tonight, you have to shut Jack Humphreys down?
Oh, he's definitely going to play a massive role tonight, isn't he? And you want to be in front of him, obviously, but he's going to be a really tough beast to handle. And if anyone's able to do it, maybe we'll see a few new drivers come through. It's a new game, so a few drivers might have adapted better than others, but yeah, he's definitely going to play a key role tonight. So we'll just see how much impact he has.
Yeah, well, let's take a look at some of the comments. The Phoenix Blaze is saying, Huey, get this dub. Lindsay saying from ETE as well, I'm engineering Gregory, Jordan, and Geordie. So they're going to be the ones he's supporting. Urban Scyther, Prince could be the dark horse. Again, more for Prince as well. So quite a few names coming through for him. We've got some others. I think Jordan Arnold is going to be the best driver on Xbox as well. Simo for the shock win. Bring it home, Jackson Prince. Tell you what, there's a lot of shout-outs here for Prince. Now, if those of you who don't know, Oscar King, that is in particular, of course, winner of the Oceania, the OFI4 evaluation race, and ET8 esports driver. We did allude, of course, a couple of drivers coming through from different teams. So that is a very fascinating pick, certainly from many others. And definitely, if he's with ET8, they've signed him for a reason. And obviously, he's going to look to try and bring his best here tonight. Plenty of you, though, getting involved in the live chat. Thank you so much, guys. Please keep it coming. We want to hear more from you. Let us know who you are backing. Who do you think is going to take pole as well? What kind of driver takes pole, Jaden?
Yeah, well, I mentioned before, just the driver that's able to consistently push their way through and then hold that lap together right at the end. It's in qualifying especially, you got to be able to perform under pressure. And the best drivers are able to do it. You don't have to be the fastest to take pole. You've just got to be the one that stays cool and calm and is able to nail it when it matters. So that's the driver that's going to be able to get it done, I think.
Yeah, well, it's going to be tight. Obviously, pace is something. It's not everything. It's also about raceability, drivability, essentially racecraft, folks. That is imperative tonight. That is going to decide your race winner, and also someone who is going to take pole as well, utilising their resources to the best of their ability around a track such as Spa, and it is a very tricky thing to do. Only the best can truly pull it off. So yes, keep it coming, folks. We've got Riley McKay is who I'm rooting for. I can see that in the live chat as well. Riley going to start cooking. Don't be surprised if Marcus or Jacob Conius get a front row. I mean, I've heard the name Jacob Conius before, and he is certainly a vibrant talent. P7 in OFI3, should I say, engineer for TF10 Esports, and is also involved in PSGL F2 on the PlayStation side. So, I mean, you've got to give that credit because, of course, Jacob Conius having that credibility. We know how strong PSGL is these days. Obviously, I commentate the top tier with the F1 esports talents, but F2 isn't that far away. So the fact that you all of a sudden have someone that is F2 in the PlayStation division, which of course was very much the home of PSGL, and has been certainly solidified as certainly the place to be on PlayStation as well as PC, that is a huge tick in the box for Jacob Conius, is it not, Jaden?
Oh yeah, it's fantastic. Seeing drivers being able to make their way up through the ranks, it's fantastic to see. And hopefully, these events coming up will be able to give a platform for some of those drivers trying to break through as well, trying to make a name for themselves. And it's a fantastic opportunity for all of them. Yeah.
I love the fact as well, we've got hashtag bird is the word. I can see a lot of intrepid esports team supporters there, so keep it coming, guys. Keep it coming. We love it. We've got plenty of drivers, though, taking part tonight. Also looking at the likes of Kieran Potter, Gregory Prisabil as well. Apologies if I butcher that name. He's partnered with the NLR racing team as well. Marcus Costa, who could be one to watch as well. Zachary Smith. Of course, we spoke about Oscar King as well. Quite a spread of individual talents, and all taken from across the globe as well. And obviously, we talk about the 4 events. You know, the 4 events we got coming up here, Jaden. We speak about having a great start here at Spa, but we've got another one tomorrow, and then on top of that, we've got 2 more rounds in December. So there's quite a break in between. So whilst you might perform well in the first 2 events, that's obviously something that could happen. December could be a whole different story. You've got a whole month to wait before we go back racing again.
Oh yeah, that's going to be an agonising wait for many of the drivers, especially if you've had a good start. It's going to be a nervous wait for many of them, but it's also a great opportunity. If you've had a tough couple of races, you get a good chance to really analyse what's gone wrong or what's gone right, and keep doing it or fix the mistakes. And it really throws a spanner into the works for many of them.
Yeah, it certainly does. Obviously, when it comes down to practice, a lot of drivers like to keep the momentum up. When you have a typical calendar like you have in league racing, you're racing week on week. It's not the case here in this Oceania event. So obviously, it will test the drivers' tenacity, their ability to carry the pace across, the ability to prepare. Obviously, when it's a little off kilter like this, it can be a little tricky, can throw a few drivers off. So that's something they do have to manage. But big thank you to everyone who's tuning in here as well, guys. I'm seeing some great support. Bio steps in, which I can only imagine is Gregory Prisabil as well, saying, "You've got my name right." That's a relief. So thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. George, your heart. Thank you, Toddy. Appreciate that, my friend. I'm glad I am. At the end of the day, it's all about the waistcoat, guys. It's all about the waistcoat. But yeah, looking forward to tonight. Let us know in the live chat who you're backing, folks. We want to read more comments out, so stay interactive. That's what we want to see. The timer is ticking down now, Jaden. This is it. Crunch time is upon us here in the Oceania F1 Invitational. We have got only moments away before we start qualifying. Can't wait. Final thoughts from you before we head into quali here, Jaden.
Oh, yeah, can't wait to get it underway, and good luck to all the drivers out there, and wish them all the best. I can't wait to see them go. Yeah,
no, I can't wait either. Timer's ticked to 0, folks. Sit tight. We're going to be bringing you all the qualifying action now from Spa Francorchamp. Like I said, a circuit that has existed for so many years, 102 years now. It is featured on the F1 calendar. One of the most devastating circuits. It's certainly brought a tragedy around. At the same time, though, has glittered many careers of drivers, not only in real life, but also in the world of esports as well. It is a staple across many F1 calendars. I, of course, have commentated both here in the virtual sense and in real life, but the magic still exists no matter what. And the same can be said tonight for the Oceania F1 Invitational as we now look to get started here tonight. Like I said, let us know who you're backing. Let us know who you're supporting. 4 rounds we're going to be bringing to you in this championship fight. And I, for one, can't wait. Sit tight, folks, as we now jump in. I'm going to take you through the lineup as well here as we get underway. Ryan Bell and Al Karudin are going to be driving the Red Bull. Of course, they're part of the AFR squad. Get your words out, George. Oscar King and Matt Plevey, of course, representing both Race Spec and the OSRL team as well. That is the combination at Ferrari. Gregory Prisabil, he's in the Mercedes. Sadie in the Mercedes as well. Jack Humphreys, Intrepid's finest, representing OSRL. The Simo joins him. Last minute step in as a reserve. We got Riley McKay in the McLaren with G-Force L30. They're both representing in McLaren as well. Jacob Conius and BPV8. They're both representing in the Alfa Romeo. Aston Martin lineup, Kieran Potter and Thomas McKines as well. They're representing here for that team too. Geordie Slater and Zachary Smith at Haas with Marcus Costa and Seb at the AlphaTauri. And then you've got Jordan Arnold and Huey who steps in a reserve for Williams. So there you have it, folks. This is our lineup here tonight. I can't wait. You're going to be in for a treat. Let's head across to Spa now as we look to get things underway. And already we're seeing cars venture out on track for the first time. And it's the combination of McLaren that are leading them out. Riley McKay, and he's being joined by G-Force L30.
Yeah, very keen to go, the McLarens, and out on track nice and early. I wonder if that's an early team strategy for them. Get out there straight away, get a lap in, and give them a nice tow as well. So that could be a possibility.
Could always be a possibility as we run on board here with Riley McKay making his way through the Laycom section, heading through now the Malmedy and heading down now the hill. Of course, the elevation starts to drop here at this point. It's very much a roller coaster ride here at Spa Francorchamp. The circuit itself, as I said, 70,000 capacity here at this very track. Of course, historic. Has got actually 3 different paddocks at this point here at this track, and there's plenty of racing. Obviously, I've been here for the 24-hour of Spa as well when commentating the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, and they fill every paddock to the absolute brim. And bear in mind, we have approximately 5 to 6 different series running across one weekend during that 24-hour Spa weekend. Very much a festival of speed in its own right as well, as we see the cars make their way through the middle sector. Heading now in towards Campus and Stavolo. Now, these are going to be areas where drivers are going to have to maximise their ability to find the apexes. That is going to be paramount in Sector 2. We did allude to the fact that we are going to need that little bit of mentality around the drive. If you want to take pole, that's exactly what you need to do, as we now see the cars make their way through the final sector. It's a very busy track. Only a small matter of 4 cars currently sit in the pit lane. The rest are out on circuit. Sit tight, folks. Hellacious ride to come, as now we see Riley McKay make his way in towards the bus stop chicane.
Yeah, he's ready to go to give us our first lap of the evening tonight, and he's now making his way down the main straight, and off we go. And now making his way into turn 1, and he has taken it pretty well there. And now on the exit, it's important to get the power down nicely there and through the most famous quarter in motorsport, Eau Rouge up to Radion, and he's done pretty well through there. Very challenging this circuit, so just trying to get that first lap in, a good time on the board for Riley here, and as he makes his way down the Kemmel Straight, and it's going to be a 30.0 through the first sector, and you can see he's really pushing hard through there, and obviously no assist for any of the drivers, so they're all out there doing the absolute best. A little bit of a slide for Riley going through there, but he's managed to hold it together, and now making his way through, a little bit slidey through there as well, but he's got plenty of pace about him so far, and he's really thrown the car in hard there, but fantastic. We'll get a little bit of help from that Red Bull there passing through, and yeah, it's been a pretty good lap so far. Let's see if he can hold it together through the end. He's really getting close to the edge of the track here, riding right on, and it's a 1:12.9 through the middle sector, so it's looking pretty handy so far for Riley. And now just got a couple, one more chicane really to work through here, and flat out through there. It's just a beautiful final sector here, plenty of speed, and into the bus stop chicane. A lot of time to be gained or lost through here, and he's done pretty well. Jack Humphries with the 147. Can Riley knock that off? Not quite. It's going to be a 141.2 to start us off for McLaren.
Well, I can tell you that Ryan Bell, who's now made his way out onto the track, obviously getting caught up on that lap as well. Quite a few times, though, coming in very early on. Huey, incidentally, despite invalidating that first run, unfortunately, wasn't able to bring it home. He was purple in that first sector as well, so we're showing all the good pace that was necessary. Plenty of other cars, though, making their way around. Seb making his way through on his hot lap as well. Marcus Costa also is joining him too, so very much a twin force there at AlphaTauri. Jacob Cornius is also one to watch. He is also setting some reasonable lap times. A 30.092 in the first sector is definitely reasonable, but straight away Ryan Bell setting a purple first sector, a 29.891 to get us underway. That is the mere track improvement that we're starting to see being dished out, and immediately GeForce Leo now taking the 29.8. He's stolen the purple first sector as well. Jacob Cornius coming towards the line. Humphrey still leads. Cornius 7th fastest, but we do have plenty of other cars to watch, including Ryan Bell, who could yet tip the scale in his favour. He doesn't have the purple first sector anymore because GeForce Leo stole that privilege away from him only a moment or so ago. Let's ride on board here with Ryan Bell as he makes his way around the middle sector too. Plenty more names crossing the line. Marcus Costa going 3rd fastest. Oscar King 4th fastest. Kieran Potter 5th fastest. Zachary Smith there too. Look how close Ryan Bell got to the McLaren there on his way out as he makes his way through the final sector, heading through the Blanchimont zone now. Will the Red Bull grant Ryan Bell wings on this occasion? A 43.333 in that middle sector certainly looks very tasty indeed. Coming through the bus stop chicane now, foot to the floor as he looks to power his way towards the line. As he does so, 5th fastest there for him. But I tell you what, there are improvements coming. GeForce Leo, obviously, who set that purple lap, he's also making his way towards the line. Where's he going to go? Purple first sector, only 11th fastest. That last sector was a complete disaster, and he lost time because of it.
Something must have gone wrong there through the final sector, but just look at that gap between Jack Humphries and Riley, the top two, 5/10, and the rest of the field's pretty close together. So Jack Humphries, as we were speaking about before, really looks like the man to beat very early on here in qualifying.
Yeah, it certainly does. Matt Plevey now, of course, the boss at Race Spec Esports, driving the Ferrari. He's on a slow run at the moment. He did set a 30.1 in the first sector, which is pretty competitive, has to be said, but unfortunately not able to dial it in here at this point. But he still has time. Of course, at this point now, we have 10 minutes of qualifying still to go, so sit tight. But that 10 minutes can seep away very quickly. And you don't want to be burning up these tyres as well, because obviously, remember, you have a set allocation through the stints of qualifying, and then at the same time, you don't want to eat into the tyres that you have set by for the race as well. So we have currently at this point Jack Humphries still at the top. Now that time has been undisturbed since we started quali. And look at the gap there as well. Just beyond half a second, the difference between Jack Humphreys and Riley McKay in second place. So it's Intrepid in P1. We've got TF10 in P2 as well, which definitely sort of, you know, irons in that big team battle that, of course, we see, of course, across the community when it comes to battles between these such esports teams. Plenty, though, of drivers still to come across the line. BPV8 still hasn't set a time either. Big Al just making his way up through towards Eau Rouge and Radion. So sit tight, folks. 10 minutes still to go. It is still Humphreys up at the front end. Riley McKay half a second away.
Yeah, it's absolutely been dominant from Jack Humphreys so far as we've seen the first runs come through. Having a look at Big Al in the Red Bull at the moment to see what he can do on his first lap of qualifying, and he's had a pretty handy first sector, 30.2, not quite enough for fastest there, but he's starting to make his way through now. Plenty of time left in Q1 for one or potentially two more runs, depending on how much the drivers want to risk here. And Big Al now, as BPV8 has retired. I'm not sure, I don't think that was on track, might have been in the pit lane, I'm not sure. But interesting there, no time set, so that Alfa Romeo is unfortunately out of qualifying before it even gets started. But we stay on with Big Al as he reaches the conclusion of the middle sector. And, very, very close to the line there, 1:13.0 through there. And he's really pushing the limits as he makes his way towards the conclusion of this lap. It's foot to the floor all the way through. And he's coming through now. We'll see what kind of time he can come up with as he makes his way to the bus stop chicane. Arguably one of the more important corners on this track. Takes a nice amount of curb, and then the DRS will be open to the line. What's the Red Bull got in him? It is a 1:41.4. That's good enough for sixth place, right behind his teammate Ryan Bell.
Yeah, nice lap there from Big Al, right behind Ryan Bell, his teammate as well, 1:41.416. Only 0.03 of a second away from his teammate. Was the gap between him and the top end, though, just under 0.7 of a second. Now, BPV8, a driver that's obviously retired here very, should we say, early into the session to a certain degree, because, of course, he still has time left to actually set a lap. Jack Humphreys retiring, though, however. He has no qualms about his position in this timing tower. Ryan Bell also retiring from the session too. But BPV8, someone who is certainly tenacious out on track. A winner of Season 4 in OSRL Tier 1, and was also actually a pick potentially for F1 Esports Challenges in 2023 this year, which obviously didn't go ahead at that point. But nevertheless, we'll be looking to perhaps bring his best during the race, but already putting himself at a disadvantage at a point where really you do need to sort of set in place at least some sort of a lap time just so you can compete later on. Doing a last to first in a championship such as this at this point, Jaden, is very risky, would you not say?
Yeah, for sure. And unfortunately for BPV8, he's going to be starting last on the grid. It's going to be a lot of work to do, a long race. And in the meantime, Geordie Slater just went 8th in the half, so pretty handy lap from him. And yeah, a few minutes left in the session, and a couple of those drivers in the bottom 5 will be pushing hard in the next couple of minutes to try and get out of that danger zone.
Yeah, absolutely right indeed. There's already cars out on laps. We've got Zachary Smith, who's currently on a 1:41.644. He's just set a 30.013 in the first sector as he now makes his way through Pouon. Of course, lighting things up for the Haas F1 team and representing the home league of Octane Online Racing. It's P6 in OFI4 and does have the pedigree to compete with the very best. Of course, currently sat in behind his teammate Geordie Slater, who's in 8th place as well. It's just set a 43.174 in Sector 2, which, just to allude that in numbers to you folks, is nearly half a second away from Jack Humphreys' top Sector 2 time, of course. Jack Humphreys holds on to the to the second and third split purple sectors. So there we go. The only one he hasn't got is Sector 1, as we now see Zachary Smith make his way out of the bus stop chicane, heading up towards the line now. This will be an improvement. 4th place, 4th fastest for Zachary Smith, but plenty of other cars out on laps, including Seb, who has just set an unbelievable first sector, but invalidated heading out of the Bruxelles Rivage section. So that's going to hurt him a lot. And after setting that purple first sector, well, not a purple first sector, but a 29.9 in the first sector, that was faster than Jack Humphreys. May not have been purple, but it was faster than Jack Humphreys in Sector 1.
Yeah, he'll be ruining that one. And it's such fine margins as well. You can't afford to not use every bit of the track available to you, but the risk that comes with that is invalidating your lap, and that's what's happened to Seb there. Also, we've seen quite a few drivers confident enough in their lap times towards the top end that they've retired. So Jack Humphries, Riley, Marcus Costa, Ryan Belt have all retired, confident enough they'll be able to get through. And I think at this stage, it looks like they'll be all right at the moment.
Yeah, personal best found as well by Jordan Arnold. Currently sat on the bubble of elimination. So this is a very important lap here for Jordan Arnold. A 29.996 by Gregory Prisbill. Currently sat in 11th place, just outside the top 10. 141.680 was his last lap. And he's since done a 29.9 in Sector 1, which is faster than Jack Humphries by a mere 0.005 of a second in that first sector. That is absolutely minimal. Now, I can tell you this as well. Big Al, obviously, actually taken, well, he had taken previously that purple middle sector. Of course, Jack Humphries still holds on to that right. He might obviously be looking to come out again. Currently sat in 7th place. Obviously not picking to retire at this stage. Jordan Arnold making his way through the bus stop chicane this time around in the Williams. As heads up towards the line, and this will surely be an improvement to set personal bests in the first two sectors. Goes third fastest. Brilliant improvement there from Gregory Prisbill. He's going to be absolutely thrilled with that. But I can tell you this, GeForce Leo, also currently in the pits, obviously currently holds the purple first sector at 29.871. He's still in the pits, but he'll be coming out very soon because he's not far away from elimination. He's currently sat in 14th place, but we have got Seb out on a lap as well, and he's found a personal best improvement in the first sector as well.
Yeah, great laps from Gregory Prisbill and Jordan Arnold there. They were sitting in that danger zone, but up to 2nd and 4th now, you'd think that's enough to get them through to the next stage. And Seb in 15th, right on the edge at the moment. So this is an absolutely crucial lap for him. And he's about to come up to the bus stop chicane. And he's got about a 10.5 gap to G-Force in front of him that he's going to try and make up. And he's coming to the line now. What's it going to be for Seb? It's going to be not an improvement. He stays 15th, and there's only 2 minutes left in qualifying. So a few nervy moments for the AlphaTauri now.
Yeah, it certainly is, because he's got plenty of cars behind him that are now on outlaps. Matt Plevey as well on a fast run. Though I will say this, is that his previous run was invalidated. He's just set a personal best, as you'd expect in the first sector. His invalidated lap was a 148.522, so certainly nothing to write home about. But nonetheless, now looking to try and march an improvement. But Plevey is invalidated again. Matt Plevey invalidating his first sector. And I think that means as well that he's going to struggle to put a lap down to even get out of qualifying here in Q1. So Plevey in real jeopardy unless he can get across the line. But those tyres are going to be absolutely obliterated for that final run, as we now wait and see whether Seb can stay up. But he's got lots to be concerned about here. The Simo, who steps in as a reserve, but also Shubman Path, who has a great chance to elevate himself out of P16.
Correct me if I'm wrong, George. I think I'm seeing a few raindrops out on the track as well. So this is going to shake it up massively as we're watching. Yeah, there is plenty of rain going on at the moment, and a few of the drivers, they might struggle. The track condition will only get worse from here.
Yeah, it's going to get really slick out there. And Shubman Path, who is currently sat in the elimination zone, he's coming through the Rivage section, through Jackie Expend now, and look at the droplets coming down. It is definitely very profound. It's light rain at this stage. Whether it gets heavier, we'll have to wait and see. We were forecast to have it in 3 minutes' time, but as we expect the dynamic effects of the weather here on the F1 game, it can prove to be a little bit risque. It is approximate in many ways. The drivers do have to manage it amongst themselves, but what this means is that those currently in the bottom 5 in this qualifying session could see themselves getting an early exit here out of qualifying in Q1. So certainly the task at hand here for Shubman Path has been that much harder, and I can tell you this, he's not improving on his previous lap. Remember, his previous best was a 142.233. He will not be improving if this continues at this stage. Oscar King is out on track as well. I don't think he can be concerned about anything, though, because, of course, as this rain comes down, the likelihood of anyone getting past him at this stage, the checkered flag comes out, and Shubman Path, he's been eliminated as well. The Simo is also out on track. He's not improving. He's been eliminated eliminated. So Seb at this point, just by mere coincidence of the rain coming down, he might have just saved himself here in qualifying.
Yeah, the gods have absolutely smiled on him here, I think. Unfortunately for Shubman, Path, Simo and Huey, all unable to improve here as Simo comes to the line, but it's going to be too late, and that was... You needed to have that lap set before earlier in the session. The rain has come down at the most inopportune moment right at the end of qualifying, and a few drivers, I'd imagine, will be a little bit disappointed that they've been eliminated here. But yeah, the rain has just absolutely cost them, but it saved Seb.
Yeah, and I tell you what as well, folks, Jack Humphries, he didn't need another lap. He didn't need anything whatsoever. 2 purple sectors in Sector 2 and Sector 3 have granted him a P1 time of a 1:40.729 here in this first session, and that is what's got him through to Q2 at the very top. Gregory Prisbill also showing the star quality he has as well, within 0.3 of a second, but he had to do 2 laps in order to get that close to Jack Humphries there, and use 2 sets of tyres in the process as well. Let's take you through with who we're saying goodbye to as well, folks. G-Force Leo is out of qualifying. Shubman Path is out. The Simo 346 is out. Matt Plevey, Huey, and BPV8, who of course lost out earlier on as well. Seb getting through by the mere skin of his teeth. Incredible scenes here in the first session of qualifying. Hope you all enjoyed that, folks. I mean, how do you assess that, Jade? Obviously, weather playing a huge role in what happened there in qualifying. It got certainly very timid, very tepid, I think, down in the bottom end of things. Obviously, Jack Humphries had nothing to worry about at this stage. But looking ahead now to the next session, it's now going to be huge questions asked of those remaining in the session, but incredible. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, we just see now heavy rain is back again in Q2.
Yeah, it was a very interesting session there. And yeah, Seb very lucky to get out. As I said before, a few drivers will be ruining that missed opportunity there if they knew the rain was coming or not. But yeah, we've got only 14 drivers left in the session now, and now they're going to be testing their wet weather driving ability, and that's what Spa delivers. You never know what weather you're going to get.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The cars now making their way out onto the track, and 14 minutes and 30 will take us through to the end of the session, as you can see from the clock. So we're down now to 14 cars, 6 cars actually getting eliminated in that last session, so that's interesting. Very rarely does that happen. Does make you wonder what might have occurred there, whether there might have been a DNF earlier on in the session. So we're now down to 14 cars here in Q2, which means we say goodbye to at least 5 of them here at this stage. And Thomas McInes, obviously making his way through. It will be 4 cars that we say goodbye to in this session, because of course the top 10 will be deciding pole when we make our way around in Q3. But we've now got plenty of cars making their way out onto the track, not wasting any time. The rain not due to stop at all in this session. It says here, according to my telemetry system, 59 minutes under these conditions. So the rain will continue right through to the end of Q2 and could yet make an appearance in Q3. We'll have to wait and see. But Riley McKay out on an outlap as well after a reasonable start in Q1. The big question is, can Jack Humphries do exactly what he did in the first session in this one too? That is going to be the big task ahead of him this time around, isn't it, Jaden?
Yeah, what a test it's going to be for some of these drivers here, and we could potentially see that order flip a little bit. Maybe some of the drivers will be a little bit stronger in the wet weather conditions than others, so there is potential for a couple of drivers to bob up towards the top of the timing screens.
I mean, it was quite a gap as well in the first session. I mean, we allude to downforce levels. Obviously, the drivers might have factored in the point that we are, of course, running, with dynamic weather. Drivers do have to kind of take responsibility and obviously account for the fact that we have got the weather concerns here. But obviously, when it comes down to dealing in Parc Fermé rules and utilising setups, obviously, if you have a fixed setup scenario where, you can't touch it or amend it as a whole throughout the course of the weekend, if you pick a setup, that's it. That's what you've got to stick by. Of course, you can only merely adjust that brake bias and that wing level. So it really does test the strength and the durability of some of these drivers now. Seb making his way towards the line to begin his flying lap. I can tell you that Kieran Potter and Ryan Bell are already on theirs at this stage. So Aston Martin and Red Bull already making their way around the track. Yellow flags lit up in Sector 3 as the traffic looks to sort itself out. Jordan Arnold just beginning his fast run as well. Plenty of drivers to focus on, but Seb now, who just barely got through without being eliminated in the first session. Remember, he was on the bubble of elimination, 15th place, but managed to spring up to 14th and hold position heading into Q2. Now comes up the Kemmel Straight towards the next chicane at Les Combes. So who can hold on? A 31.6 for the Aston Martin of Kieran Potter. He holds on to the purple first sector, but that could all change come the end of this session.
Yeah, big 11 minutes coming up here as Seb making his way through the middle sector. Most of the drivers now out on their laps, and it's going to be very interesting to see what kind of times we see early on in this session. How ready are the drivers going to be for the wet conditions? This is another great test of the driver's skill as Seb goes off the track there. Being able to drive in the changing conditions, you've got to suddenly go from driving in the wet to driving in the dry conditions to the wet, where you can't take the corners as fast as you're expecting. So it's going to be really, really difficult, but a great challenge, and I wonder who's going to step up here.
Well, Ryan Bell coming through the bus stop chicane now, set a 51.4 in that middle sector. He's going to be the first man to cross the line in the Red Bull, but he's lost out on 2 purple sectors here as well. Goes first fastest with a 1:53.527, but the one to watch here at this stage is Kieran Potter, as he now heads up towards the line. Surely will go fastest. He does at this stage, but has already had the purple sector 2 taken away from him, and on this occasion it's by this man who's just in fact lost out to the McLaren in third place, Riley McKay, who has gone purple in the second sector. Jordan Arnold comes up towards the line now, 51.68. We now see Jack Humphreys go purple in that second sector this time. So it's swapping about all over the place here. Many cars dueling it out on track. Riley McKay for TF10 making his way up towards the line now. Obviously did have that purple middle sector. Will he go fastest? Only enough for 5th fastest, so lost time in Sector 3. Jack Humphreys set the first 49.5 in that middle sector. The only man in the 49s in Sector 2 as he heads up towards the line now. Surely will go fastest. He can't. He lost out in that final sector, and the first sector wasn't brilliant either. In fact, he was 6/10 slower in Sector 1 than Kieran Potter in first place.
Yeah, well, it just makes you think, is the rain potentially getting worse out there? The conditions are going to play a huge factor here. And as we know, it's inters at the moment, but the weather could change. The rain could become lighter or heavier. And if it is, in fact, becoming heavier, it could be a lot more difficult for some of those drivers to set good laps. And it could be whoever gets their lap in first at this stage.
Yeah, it certainly could be. Seb making his way around the track has already found a little improvement. 32.3 is a personal best in Sector 1 in these conditions. Heading through towards Campus and Stavolo as he now looks to make his way through towards Sector 3 this time around. He, of course, will be met by Corbet Paul Frere that he takes now. Let's ride on board here with Seb. Lost out, actually, a lot of time in Sector 2 at 52.046. Is never ideal. In fact, that's considered a slow run here at this point, so Seb could be on for not making an improvement this time around. Makes his way through bus stop. Let's just see how the conditions are affecting him here. You just saw the rear end escaping him there, and has obviously cost him quite a lot of time. Invalidations for Gregory Brisbane, but he's already set a fast run that has allowed him to go 3rd fastest for the LNR Racing driver. Jack Humphreys, though, only good enough for 4th fastest here at this stage. Now, we do have another driver that's on an improvement. Personal best in the 1st and 2nd sector for Oscar King. Was the Ferrari driver now rounding Blanchimont down towards bus stop now. And the Scuderia that have obviously won F1 Esports Championships with the likes of David Tinitza all the way back in 2019. Oscar King is going to look to try and bring grandeur to the team all dressed in red as well. 4th fastest ahead of Jack Humphreys. A great lap there for Oscar King to get him underway as Jack Humphreys improves. 2nd fastest for Jack Humphreys. A good improvement, just over 1.5 tenths behind Kieran Potter now. But I think that speaks volumes about Kieran Potter's lap. He only needed 1 lap to do it. Jack Humphreys has taken 2.
Yeah, well, it could be the intermediate conditions here. Kieran Potter, absolutely brilliant lap to be so far ahead of everyone else. And even Jack Humphreys, the man who's on fire in the first session, can't quite seem to knock that time off. And I've just seen here Riley Mackay's changed onto the wet tyres. So is that a potential indication of what's to come here conditions-wise? But yeah, Jack Humphreys, great lap. Not quite enough on this occasion, though.
No, not at all. Jacob Konius currently sat in 12th fastest, has not yet put a lap on the board. I can tell you that Big Al has got wet tyres strapped to his car in the pit lane, so interesting point there. But he is the only driver that has decided to essentially embrace the wet tyres. So whether that suggests that conditions are getting worse, we'll have to wait and see. Kieran Potter, though, still on top, still unperturbed at the very top of the timing screen. Jacob Konius setting a 32.631, which is way off the time set by Kieran Potter in the first sector. Of course, Kieran Potter holding the purple first sector with a 31.6. That is a whole second difference between Jacob Konius and Kieran Potter. Does that suggest to you here, Jaden, that the conditions are indeed getting worse, not better, and that wet tyres might be required now?
Yeah, it's looking like it. I'm just having a look. Riley Mackay and Big Al are both out on the track on wet tyres. So could this be a missed opportunity for the drivers not in the top 10? Marcus Costa, Jacob Konius, Big Al and Thomas McInnes all haven't set a lap time in this session. And if the conditions are continuing to get worse, that could be the way it stays here for the rest of the session.
Yeah, it certainly will be. Jacob Konius then making his way around the bus stop chicane. We've still got 5 minutes and 40 still to go, but we might not even see those minutes as the weather continues to barrel down. And Jacob Konius can't even get into the top 10, a 1:57.440, and that's an almighty 4.3 seconds off the top time set by Kieran Potter earlier on in the session. So heartbreak here for Jacob Konius. We could be saying goodbye not only to him, but Marcus Costa, Big Al, and Thomas McInnes, who have yet to set laps at all because Marcus Costa invalidated his previous run, as did Thomas McInnes as well. And just due to the mere fact that we've seen the weather change and potentially get worse here, it's really put them in a very difficult spot, as we now see Ryan Bell obviously in third place ahead of Gregory Prisbill. Of course, he did that quite a considerable amount of time ago. Riley Mackay, though, coming back out on an outlap. Now, he might not require to do that, might not necessarily be ideal to waste tyres, though if it is a dry race in the actual session where we go racing later on, of course, that won't necessarily be a factor. So Riley Mackay making his way through bus stop now, and currently 8th fastest, so we allude to, nearly a second off the top time of Kieran Potter. And Jack Humphreys obviously confident enough. He's retiring from the session because he knows that there's little to zero likely chance of improvements now at this point during qualifying.
Yeah, it's a huge shame for the drivers in that bottom four at the moment. It's the second session in a row tonight that the weather has caused the elimination of those drivers in Q1. The rain started to come down, and the drivers in the bottom five were not able to improve their lap times as a result. And now the rain has come down even harder, and it's just going to be a battle between those bottom four position. They will only be able to get up to 11th place, but yeah, you can see a lot of drivers coming into the pits. I think they know that all hope might be lost here. Yeah,
I think looking at this now, the likes of Riley Mackay, who is definitely not improving in that first sector, 32.911 is nearly 1.5 seconds off the pace in sector 1 alone, which is absolutely baffling. And he is still pushing at this stage. So that just goes to show that indeed the conditions have got worse, and that you are better off getting your lap in early at the start of the session where the rain wasn't quite as treacherous. Gregory Prisbill retires from the session in P4 as well, 1:53.556. Looks like we could be seeing an early end to qualifying. Zachary Smith out on an outlap as well. The timer ticks down now into the final 3 minutes. Riley Mackay coming through Corby Paul Frere as he now looks to try and hinge up this car heading through towards the Blanchimont section. Fast-paced, but highly dangerous in conditions such as these. As he now whips around, doesn't touch the curb. He'd be foolish to, because of course it is slightly raised on that inside. As he heads down in towards the bus stop chicane now, looks to try and rumble over the curbs to the inside, takes the Tiger line through, and that is an illustration of what we've come to expect. Straight into the pit lane, Riley Mackay not wasting any more time. He's coming into the box now with 2.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, unfortunately, we'll not be able to improve there, but safely into the top 10. There's still plenty to play for in this qualifying. The bottom four drivers will be battling it out for those positions, but unfortunately won't be good enough to break into the next session. So all those drivers out on an outlap at the moment, and I think a few drivers just putting in some practice laps. You never know, the race could be similar conditions to what we're seeing at the moment. It's very unpredictable weather in Spa, so not the worst idea to get a few laps in the wet, and obviously still plenty to play for as Big Al, Marcus Costa, Thomas McInnes still have to set that first time.
Yeah, Thomas McInnes currently sat in 14th and on an outlap as well. As you'd expect, the entirety of the bottom 5 are going out on outlaps just to give it a go. I mean, they may as well. I mean, just on the basis of the fact that with it being wet tyre conditions, I mean, there might be a chance there might be one place up for grabs. I mean, if you look at Seb's time, 1:55.741. That is certainly 2.6 seconds off the top time set by Kieran Potter. So might be slightly vulnerable. And if one of these drivers in the bottom 4 can hook up a lap here, there's a great chance that they could improve. And in fact, Seb, I think, is very cautious of that fact. As you can see from the graphic, folks, wet tyres issued to all those in the bottom 4 that are out on outlaps. And we've also got Zachary Smith out on track as well. Ryan Bell, who will not be necessarily concerned, third fastest, but is going to set a time on the wet tyres. I don't think he'll be under threat, but did invalidate his previous run as well, as we now see the cars make their way through the Le Source section. Zachary Smith also retiring out on circuit 2. Seb also retiring now as well. It does look to me like this is going to bring an end to the session. Big Al, though, is going to try and pursue another lap nonetheless. Is still yet to set a time across the board here at this point as they make their way up the Kemmel Straight. So we'll soon tell you, folks, as to how far away the first sector is. It's a 32.967, and that is well off the pace of Kieran Potter. 1.5 seconds in the first sector alone is what he's missed out on. So surely that has to bring an end to the runs for the bottom 4.
Yeah, it's the battle for P11 now for these drivers. So you never know, that difference between 14th and 11th could be the difference between a points finish and not. So they still will be pushing their absolute hardest here. And you can see Big Al trying to make his way through. And 1:57.4 is the time they'll be aiming at. And even that might be slightly difficult to get with the ever worsening conditions. But yeah, Big Al still trying to make his way through. He's got a couple drivers behind him that are going to try and knock him off as well. Q2 now finished. It's a 1:25.1. And Thomas McInnes just finished his lap. Only good enough for P12s. 3/10 off Jacob Conius's time. But that's not going to be enough. What about Big Al? He's coming through. And this section, you can usually take it flat out. It's a little bit more difficult under these conditions. And now to the bus stop chicane. Has that Red Bull got anything in him to try and move his way up the order? Currently in P14. And it's not looking too bad. Could be on for a P11 here, Big Al. And he gets it. 1:56.7. Great lap considering the circumstances.
Oh, big crash there. Marcus Costa, who's trying to hook up a major run through the final sector, was 32.6 in Sector 1, which was actually 3.5 tenths faster than Big Al in the first sector. Lost time in Sector 2, and I think after just pushing it through that final sector to try and grab as much time back as he could, sent Marcus Costa right into the barrier and out of the session. Big Al just barely outside, unfortunately. You just see the gap there, a whole second away from Seb in P10. So that pretty much confirms it, folks. Big Al, Jacob Conius, Thomas McInnes, as well as Marcus Costa, all out of qualifying here at this point. So that's our top 10 confirmed as we head through to Q3 later on. And obviously now as the cars make their way into the pits and retire from the session, that pretty much decides the fact. Kieran Potter, though, fastest here at this point, setting a purple first sector, which teed up a very, very good run heading through the rest of the lap. But what I will say is this. Incredible scenes from Jack Humphries. Despite being outside by just under 0.2 of a second, his Sector 2 time was blistering here at this point, and I'll talk you through it now. Kieran Potter, fastest man. Interestingly enough, though, P10 getting eliminated from the session. That is baffling. Kieran Potter, Jack Humphries, Ryan Bell, Gregory Prisbill, as well as Oscar King, Geordie Slater, Jordan Arnold, Riley McKay, Zachary Smith. The top 9 only going through to Q3 with Seb, Big Al, Jacob Conius, Thomas McInnes and Marcus Costa all out of qualifying. So there we go. Seb will not be going through to the next session of qualifying under the top 9 going through to Q3. Kieran Potter is going to be the man on top here in this session. But just talking about that Sector 2 difference, 49.5 for Jack Humphreys in the middle sector, nearly 1.5 seconds faster than the man in P1, which just goes to show that, you know, even despite losing out, and I think Jack Humphreys must have made a mistake in Sector 1, Jaden, but automatically finding all that time back in the second sector just goes to show how tenacious that young man really is.
Yeah, what an incredible middle sector, as you described there, from Jack Humphreys. And yeah, plenty of opportunity here in this final session. Unfortunately, we've been robbed in both sessions of a great shootout for the elimination zone. Hopefully, we're going to get the chance here in this session. It's raining once again, but hopefully we get a great, nice, exciting finish here.
Absolutely. I mean, looking ahead to this, 15 minutes of rain, the estimate in terms of the telemetry screens, but that will obviously outlast the rest of the session. We've only got 11 minutes and 30 here in Q3. But let us know, folks, in the live chat. We want to hear from you as well. First of all, obviously, please follow this channel and stay up to date with everything here at the Oceania F1 Invitational. Get involved. Follow the links. Come and join the Discord. Get involved on the socials as well. But let us know in the live chat, who is your pick for pole position? We want to hear from you. We've got Riley McKay, Jordan Arnold, Oscar King, Jack Humphreys, Zachary Smith, Gregory Prisabille, Kieran Potter, Ryan Bell and Geordie Slater. Let us know who you think is going to grab pole position. I'm going to ask you now as well, Jaden, who's getting it?
I think Jack Humphreys has been in incredible form so far today. And even though he didn't get top in Q2 there, I think he's definitely going to be the man to beat for this session.
Well, let's take you through some of them. We've got plenty of names here. Gregory P. We're seeing Jackson Prince saying Buster. I'll back Potsy, says Luke Roachford. We've got Jax as well from Ice Iron Rhino. Potsy for Blake Stevenson as well. Has to be Humphreys, says Zilla. You could be absolutely spot on there. Mr. Frosty saying Gregory School shooter headfly. We've got Kieran Potsy Potter as well for Blake Stevenson. Plenty of other names here too. Let us know, folks, in the live chat. And let us know as to who you think is going to take pole. And we will, of course, read them out here on the broadcast as we now see the cars make their way around on Q3. Jordan Arnold out on an outlap already. Jack Humphreys invalidating, but it's only his outlap anyway. Same can be said for Ryan Bell as well. Now, interestingly enough, look at this, Jaden. Look at this. Split decisions on what tyres these drivers are going for. 3 of them on wets, the rest on intermediates. That's a huge call, is it not?
Yeah, it's going to be massive here. It's very curious to see the different tyre choices. So maybe the Inter's runners taking a little bit of a risk here. It's going to be extremely interesting to see who's made the right call here and what the conditions are going to be.
Jordan Arnold.
Yeah, you're right. The wet.
Jordan Arnold coming
they've
straight.
They've realised it's too wet.
Well, at this point now, the wet tyres, those on the wet tyres are coming in. They're coming back by the looks of it. So Jordan Arnold definitely thinks that these are intermediate conditions. Everyone else has gone out on intermediate, so already a change of pace here for many of the drivers. Jack Humphreys, who's now making his way down towards bus stop, he could yet be the one to watch here on those intermediate tyres. And now as he looks to hook the car up, giving himself a better access heading out of bus stop, let's follow Jack Humphreys on his flying lap here at Spa Francorchamp. Down through towards Lecom, or La Source I should say at this stage, 3rd gear. Cuts into the inside now, back on the throttle again, feathering it. Doesn't touch the sleeping policeman on the left-hand side. Best thing to do as well, because obviously if you get caught out, you can find yourself spiralling towards the barrier, up through a Rouge and Radion. 7th gear, doesn't even touch 8. What's this? The safety car! The safety car out on track. Goodness me, I did not see that coming. Okay, that's something you very rarely see. Jack Humphreys meeting the safety car. Luckily drifted through Bernd Mailander like he was nearly headless Nick from Harry Potter. Did a stellar job though, Jack Humphreys, to keep composure. So there we have it. Jack Humphreys making his way down through towards the Rivage section. He's going to be faced now with another left-hander at Jackie Expend. As to whether Jack Humphreys actually saw that, I'm not quite sure. I don't think whether there might have been a little bit of desync involved there. I'm not quite certain. But heading through Pouon, it doesn't look like it's disturbed him. So let's follow him and wait and see. As we now see him make his way through the Lefanier chicane, keeping it tight to the inside and now to the left again. As the Aussie sensation who qualified for the Challengers Series last season wasn't able to partake. Obviously one of the fastest drivers to amass out of the Australian and the Oceania regions. Of course, we all saw that illustrious time in the first session, that blistering Sector 2 that could have very easily granted him a top time in certainly the second session of qualifying. Purple in the second sector, and he's done another 49.4 in Sector 2. That's even better than his previous lap in Sector 2. So this is absolutely fantastic from Jack Humphreys. This could be a blistering lap here from Humphreys across the line. A 154.062.31. Losing out though in the final sector as Ryan Bell goes fastest with a 152.131 despite the early recognitions of purple sectors for Jack Humphreys in Sector 2. Again he was blistering, but a 48.7 found by the Ferrari of Oscar King. This is starting to heat up here already in the early stages of qualifying. Ryan Bell at the very top with a 152.131, a whole tenth of a second faster than Kieran Potter, who goes second fastest. Oscar King now in the Scuderia Ferrari, looking to bring himself to the top, holds purple in Sector 2 with a 48.7. Can he go to the top end of Ryan Bell here at this point with 6 minutes and 20 to go? It is P1. It's a 151.648 for Oscar King. He takes provisional pole here in Q3, but a purple first sector already for Ryan Bell, who responds brilliantly.
This is more of what we want to see, isn't it? Absolutely fantastic shootout going on here, and Jack Humphreys is going around once again, and he's way much further up on this lap time, so he's going to be right up there as well. Oscar King, as he said, is 5/10 clear of Ryan Bell, 5 minutes left in Q3. But this has been absolutely fantastic stuff. Hopefully it continues all the way to the final second of qualifying. Jack Humphreys, 2.3 up on his previous best. This is unbelievable if they can hold this together. Purple through the middle sector, and now just got to hold it together, and this is going to be an absolutely beautiful lap time, and he can finish it off here. Just got the bus stop chicane to go, and he's coming up to the braking zone now. And just feathers it nicely and through to the final corner. Is this going to be good enough to put him on pole? Provisional pole for Jack Humphreys. Is he crossed the line? Yes, it is. By 6/10. Unbelievable. And then Ryan Bell goes and knocks it off instantly. Jack Humphreys for 2 seconds held it. Ryan Bell's come right back at him and snatched it back.
And look at that, just within 1.5 tenths of a second. That was a blistering first sector for Ryan Bell. That sector alone garnered him near enough 6/10 of a second difference between him and Jack Humphreys. But it's all about the Sector 2 for Jack Humphreys himself as well. We're also seeing Oscar King out on an improvement. Well, trying to. In fact, he's lost time, a lot of time as well. We got other cars making their way around. Jordan Arnold on his first run, a 32.029 in the first sector. Now, that is a lot faster than Ryan Bell in the first sector on his, obviously, downtime lap. Obviously, that's not what we're looking at here, as now Jordan Arnold comes up towards the line. Third fastest for Jordan Arnold, goes ahead of Zachary Smith. Oscar King, after setting that initial run, now relegated to P5. So we've got improving track conditions here at this point. Improving conditions here. And now we're seeing the Haas also finding a good first sector as well. A 32.067 here for Geordie Slater.
Yeah, this is the shootout we've been asking for all night long. We're finally going to get it. The driver's going to absolutely pushing it to the max right now, and the track's only going to get better.
Oh, Humphreys!
So it's all going to be about who's out there at the end. What's happened?
He's purple.
To Jack Humphreys. He up on his time. Yes, he is. He's going to come back at Ryan Bell here. It's only getting better at the moment. And as he makes his way through the final sector once again here, has Jack Humphreys got something special in the bag here with 3.5 minutes left to the bus stop chicane once again. Get it turned in. And he's gone into the pits. He's not going to finish it, and that ruins the fun a little bit. But he's going to have another chance at the end, and this is ramping up to be a fantastic finish.
Yeah, he can't stay in the pits too long. He's got to jump straight out. He set a blistering middle sector, the fastest we have seen on that last run, but decided to bail in Sector 3. So it's now or never for Jack Humphreys. He needs to get his car straight back out again. Gregory Prisville, who's also looking to try and find at least a quick lap time, 31.91 in Sector 1 is very quick as well. 48.7 in Sector 2. Let's see where this positions him, because of course this could upset the balance as well of things as he now makes his way through the bus stop chicane. One of the few cars currently out on track. He's the only one who's got a personal best. He's coming up towards the line now. Second fastest for Gregory Prisbill, and just outside the 10th of a second mark away from Ryan Bell. So that certainly responds to Jack Humphreys, and Humphreys surely has to get himself out as soon as possible, as out comes the Ferrari of Oscar King. They're all coming out now with 2.5 minutes to go. Sit tight, everybody. We're going to be in for one hellacious ride.
Oh my goodness, this is fantastic to watch. What a lap from Gregory Prisbill. He's been good all night long. That just cements his quality at the moment. All the drivers coming out. It might be the driver that's last across the line's going to get the best run, but it's all about holding it together till the end, and we've just got a couple minutes to go until we finish, and the drivers now, we're going to keep our eye on Jack Humphreys to see if he can knock off that time.
Yeah, he's on his outlap now, obviously setting that incredible 48.236 that has remained untouched as a middle sector purple time. It's the first sector that has been his demon. His Sector 3 time was okay on his previous run. He was actually a 30.3, which wasn't too bad, to be quite honest. Faster than the likes of Oscar King, faster than the likes of Ryan Bell. It's that first sector that is catching Jack Humphreys out. If he can dial that one in, he's going to be in a great position to garner pole. But that's not the only concern of his now, because you've got Gregory Prisbill, who's finding time, but he's gone and eliminated, or certainly invalidated his first sector. So Gregory in a lot of trouble here, because we're coming down to the final minute. He's going to have to certainly try and keep the tyres at least to a reasonable temperature. He can't afford to overheat them, as you can just see them just crawling through on this opening lap, because Gregory is on a flying lap essentially, but he has invalidated it. So that's going to go against him. He could see himself knocked off the front row with a very successful lap here from Jack Humphreys. Let's see what happens.
I'll tell you what, Ryan Bell's just retired from the session. Looking at the conditions, it's almost... Oh, what's happened there?
Jordan
There's a
Arnold.
boom of Jordan Arnold's gone round. It looks like he's just avoided damage, but that is not good for Jordan Arnold at all right at the end of this session. But as I was saying, it looks like it's almost stopped raining, so pretty much every driver should get a huge improvement on this lap.
Yeah, and everyone donning the intermediate tyres as well. Jordan Arnold lucky to avoid the damage. And I tell you who else was lucky was Kieran Potter, who very nearly ended up losing out as well. I can tell you this, Gregory Prisbill invalidating that first sector and has in fact retired. Ryan Bell also retiring as well. So this is such an important lap here at the end of qualifying, and Jack Humphreys is in the midst of a sandwich. He's got Riley McKay in front of him, and he has also got the Haas behind, so he's really got to try and find this time whilst also dealing with traffic. This is not ideal. If he pulls this off, this will be one of the most sensational laps you have ever seen in sim racing. Certainly one of the most sensational laps you'll see in Oceanic F1 racing in itself. As we now ride on board with Jack Humphreys, makes his way up the hill here this time around. Can he put together a first sector? Kieran Potter's gone fastest in the first sector. He has taken the purple first sector away from Ryan Bell at the very top by a mere hundredth. He has managed to pull it away by a mere hundredth of a second, 200ths in fact, as now Jack Humphreys, he's been usurped. He's been usurped by the Haas. He's blocked off his approach, heading through Sector 1 and Sector 2.
Oh my goodness, what did I just say? Geordie Slater goes fastest in the Haas, but Jack Humphreys and Zach Smith are battling on track at the moment whilst improving. This is unprecedented what we're seeing at the moment.
Jack Humphreys losing out in that first sector, and I can tell you that Oscar King has stolen the second sector purple as well. 47.4 here for the Ferrari of Oscar King. Can he upset the balance? He did a 32.1 purple middle sector for Riley McKay. Unbelievable finale here as well. It's all coming to a head here at the end of qualifying. The timer is at 0. Here comes Oscar King now. Can he bypass Geordie Slater? He can. The first 149 of this actual event here, this Q3 session. Oscar King now holds on to P1. Riley McKay heading up towards the line as well. Kieran Potter fastest through the safety car. Goes Riley McKay second fastest here at this stage. Unbelievable scenes here as now we see more and more cars come up towards the line, and Jack Humphreys has invalidated. He's invalidated. He will not improve. It's 7th fastest for Jack Humphreys. Kieran Potter is on pole for our first event here in the Oceania F1 Invitational.
I cannot believe what I've just seen, George. That is one of the most unbelievable finishes, but what everyone is going to be talking about is what happened between Jack Humphries and Zach Smith. They were extremely close together. They were making contact through the middle sector. I couldn't believe what I was seeing there. It was unbelievable to watch.
There was a risk there, obviously, with the cars, so clumbered together and clustered together. Unbelievable scenes. We're going to take you through the top 10, folks. We've got 10 seconds to do it. Kieran Potter, Riley McKay, Oscar King, Zachary Smith, Geordie Slater, Ryan Bell, Gregory Prisville, Jack Humphries, and Jordan Arnold. That is your top 9 as we head through into racing action. I just can't believe what we witnessed. It was absolutely mind-blowing scenes here, Jade. And obviously, we love thrilling qualifying sessions. Obviously, it's quite something. I did not expect any of that, but obviously there's going to be a lot of contention here, isn't there? I mean, obviously, off that qualifying session, Jack Humphries is going to feel like he was robbed. He would have had every chance to usher in an improvement. We saw the purple sectors coming in for the likes of the McLarens, also obviously Kieran Potter, who has gone ahead and taken the pole time. But you've also got the likes of Oscar King, who is finding improvements too. You would have expected Jack Humphries to do the same, but unfortunately, coming together with the Haas has led to him invalidating his run, which is phenomenally unlucky, but at the same time, was there some intentional stuff going on there?
Yeah, I'm not too sure what to make of it, to be honest. Jack Humphries will be starting in 8th for the race now, but it looked like Zachary Smith overtook him on the straight there, down the Kemmel Straight, and unfortunately Jack Humphries could not do much about it. So interesting to say the least, but he's definitely got some work to do in the race.
Yeah, he certainly does. It's going to be a huge challenge. I'm looking at, obviously, some of the other names that we need to look at. Obviously, Kieran Potter, fastest again. Only this time, he did it when it mattered. He did it during the Q3 time. We saw him, show shades of this earlier on in the session. But the fact that he was able to pull it off like he did, that is a clutch lap right there, Jaden. And not just him, but the likes of Oscar King as well. All those guys bringing out the big results when they need it. Just a quick reminder, folks, of the lineups here tonight. So this is the grid order. Obviously, the likes of Ryan Bell. Ryan Bell was sensational as well. He's got Al Karudin alongside him. Oscar King, P3 out of qualifying. Matt Plevey, who unfortunately could not muster together a valid lap time in our very first session. Gregory Prisville, who was also on a decent run. Sadie as well, representing the Mercedes team. Jack Humphries, who's going to be disappointed, I'm sure, with what happened during that session. The Simo. Riley McKay, decent performance. GeForce Leo as well in the McLaren. Jacob Conius and BPV8, who of course retired early at the start of quali. Kieran Potter, though, what a lap to muster in at the very last moments. Thomas McInnes as well, also representing in the Aston Martin. Geordie Slater and Zachary Smith, who I'm sure isn't necessarily going to be a very popular human being with the likes of Jack Humphries. That's going to cause some contention. Marcus Costa and Seb, Jordan Arnold and Huey as well, also at the bottom. Jordan Arnold also impressing as well throughout qualifying. But yes, we're going to be in for a treat in terms of how the racing's going to go. We just witnessed a sensational quali. How do you assess what happened in Q3 there, Jaden?
Oh, there was so many fantastic performances there. Kieran Potter, what a lap that was from him. He's done it a couple times already tonight, which is fantastic to see. And there's plenty of great drivers to look out for. Some brilliant performances that we've seen. But it's all going to be about the race now, with only half the job's done. And yes, can't celebrate now. You got to wait all the way. Long race to go. There's
a long race to go indeed, and there's a long battle ahead. There's going to be lots of challenges, certainly for many of the drivers. And obviously, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. Jack Humphries has built a reputation based on his pure presence on track, his pure, his race ability, his pace, everything about him. But were there a few frailties on display there, Jaden?
Yeah, it's a big one. Jack Humphries, obviously in 8th position for the race. He didn't knock off that Q2 time like we expected him to, but he did dominate in those dry conditions. So it looks like, from an outsider's point of view, that the dry is where he's strongest, but he's still going to be an absolutely enormous threat regardless of the conditions. And I think he'll have a few drivers nervously looking in their wing mirrors to see where he is on track.
I think so. It's going to be a very trepidatious issue, but I mean, folks, sit tight. We're going to be in for a real treat. Obviously, if you're backing certain drivers, I'm sure you're going to be fighting tooth and nail in their corner as well. But tonight, obviously, deciding who is going to take 25 points to get their championship campaign underway. Obviously, we have 4 events to come. Is someone going to maximise it and claim the maximum 100 points? We'll have to wait and see. Or in this case, the maximum would be 104 if you include the fastest lap points as well. But obviously tonight has already proven that with the mixed weather conditions, dynamic weather at its best, with rain featuring in Q2 and Q3, the big question is, I suppose, is are we going to see it in the race, Jaden? And will we have a scenario where we have various different conditions? Because it does happen at Spa. It's in a microclimate, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. It's going to be a huge test for the drivers. They've been tested massively already tonight qualifying. We've had every single type of tyre used. We've had the inters, the wets and the softs. So if we get more of that in the race, I'm sure they'll be ready for it. But it's going to be who handles those conditions the best. And I think Kieran Potter on pole position, he was able to handle the conditions better than anyone else. And that's why he's in the position that he is at the moment.
Certainly is, and we have to wait and see as to whether they come out on top. The driver's just getting ready for the start of the session, as you always know, folks. When we head into a brand new session, obviously it's just to prevent any issues that might arise heading through, like safety cars appearing in qualifying, things of that nature. But yes, wasn't ideal, obviously, having burnt my lander out on track. But we want to say a big thank you to you guys at home as well for all your support. We really do appreciate it here at the OFI. Plenty more to come. Of course, we've got another event tomorrow morning as well, so you can choose, well, tomorrow morning my time, tomorrow evening for you guys. But yeah, heading through to the rest of the week, we have, of course, got another event tomorrow as well, following this one at Spa. That'll, of course, be round 2. And then we come back in December then for the following 2 rounds to conclude the championship with 4 races in total. It's going to be a fantastic affair. And if it's anything like what we've already seen, we're going to be in for one real treat. Please make sure, of course, that you leave a follow to this channel. And like I said, check out the social media as well. Not forgetting the Discord links too that are available. I know that Slammer is working behind the scenes as our chat moderator, and he can obviously provide you guys with all that information as well should you require it. But looking ahead, obviously now we've got a 50% race scenario, which opens up doors in terms of strategy, and that is going to be a huge factor here today, is it not, Jaden?
Oh, it's going to be probably make the difference between the good and the great here at Spa. Obviously, strategy going to play a massive role. The weather as well will have a huge impact. What I'm looking forward to is seeing Jack Humphreys and Zach Smith on track. They're obviously not too far away from each other, and that could get a bit spicy. There's going to be plenty of tension out there already. We've seen a few incidents happen late in that Q3. But yeah, strategy going to be absolutely enormous. What tyres the driver's going to start on, I'm sure there'll be a mix across the field. So it's going to be all about who's got that right. And very just pumped to get this race going. Yeah,
I mean, I'm pumped as well. You know, as I'm sure you're all pumped at home too. We're just waiting to see when we get back underway. Obviously, we have teams of people working on the hosting, and it has to be said, it's fantastic to have everyone working together on this. It won't be too long before we hit pedal to the metal for the first time this season in the Oceania F1 Invitational, so sit tight. But yes, plenty of names to look at. Obviously, we hail back at the Oscar Kings, the Jack Humphreys, and not to mention the Kieran Potters. It's been a real privilege to obviously see these guys in action. And I tell you what, it's the precipice of a great qualifying session when you get those laps coming in at the very last moment, Jaden, isn't it? I mean, that's what we want to see. We want everything to come to fruition at the very tail end. A clutch lap from Kieran Potter out of nowhere. It didn't look like it was going to be that good. It was great, but it didn't look like it was going to be that great. But he managed to plug it together in that final sector, managing to bring it home. Obviously, that has been the undoing of many drivers, given the wet conditions with a heavy braking zone. It's a combination that doesn't necessarily mix, but he managed to obviously maximize his performance in conditions that were less than ideal.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it was worth the wait, wasn't it? We had to wait that entire qualifying session to finally get that last-minute shootout, and it definitely didn't disappoint. Obviously, the drivers had a lot of pressure going into those laps. You had to improve if you wanted a good position because the track was only getting better and better. And Kieran Potter was just able to maximise his opportunity. As I said before the start, you don't have to be the fastest driver. You just got to be the one who hooks up a lap at the right time, and that's what Kieran Potter was able to do.
Yeah, you certainly do. I mean, if we just read into what Kieran Potter has done, podium finisher in the Oceania F1 Invitational prior in the third one, and finishing third behind Jack and Luke Rochford as well. So obviously, prior has obviously finished behind those particular drivers, but has now seen himself harness the front. So there is the trajectory for Kieran Potter. It's only up. The only way is up for Kieran Potter. So yes, big thank you to each and every single one of you for tuning in. Thank you as well to all the viewers as well, tuning in from down under. We really appreciate it. As I know, I think we've got over 100 people watching live at this point. So that is absolutely fantastic. Thank you to each and every single one of you. And make sure you stay tuned because we've got a fantastic number of events coming up, including tomorrow. So make sure you tune in tomorrow as well. But we've still got a race to bring you as well. And it'll be very interesting. Speaking about, obviously, that moment between Jack Humphreys and the Haas that obviously intervened at that point. Of course, the teammate of Geordie Slater. It's never ideal to see those moments happen. I think off the face of it, there might be a few eggs on a few people's faces after that. But obviously, it'd be great to sort of get an idea as to what Zachary Smith's mindset was. I know they were both on fast runs. Maybe Smith was, banking on the toe that Jack Humphreys was giving. They were so closely bunched together, Jaden. I did allude to the traffic, and that could be a factor, and it certainly was. Is it a case that maybe one of the drivers should have managed it better than the other? Because obviously clean air is imperative in qualifying.
Yeah, it definitely would have been a few tense moments in both those teams' boxes there. But it's going to be definitely looked at by the stewards. And I think Zach Smith probably might have to shoulder the blame for that one. He did start the lap behind Jack Humphreys, and the driver behind us to take responsibility for leaving a reasonable gap. So I think it would have been just desperation to get that lap in from Zach Smith's side, and unfortunately hasn't quite worked out. But that can happen in racing. It's a high pressure situation. Unfortunately, that's just what's happened there.
Well, I'm pleased to say that the timer is ticking down, folks. We will be going racing now very shortly and putting pedal to the metal for the first time here in the Oceania F1 Invitational here this season. Can't wait. Let us know in the live chat as well. Who do you think is going to take victory here tonight? Are you going to side with Kieran Potter? Do you think it could be Ryan Bell? Could it be a McLaren that steps up? Could it be Jack Humphreys fighting all the way back from P7? We'll have to wait and see. Going to be a huge almighty charge from all the drivers involved. Let us know who your selection is, who you're cheering for as we go racing here this time around. Jaden, I'm going to throw it to you. Who do you think is going to come out on top here tonight at Belgium?
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to be shaken up now with Jack Humphreys out of position, but he's definitely going to be a contender. I think Kieran Potter has shown us everything so far to indicate that he could be the man to take the win, and I think if it all works out for him, I think he's going to be the man to do it tonight.
Yeah, well, he could well be, and we are going to be getting a view from Spa Francorchamp. I can tell you that it's a nice dry day, at least for now, folks. No rain necessarily expected in accordance to our telemetry screen. As you can see, it is nice and bright and dry. No clouds necessarily in the sky, though it does look a little grey in patches, just a little overcast at this stage. But the drivers just getting ready to make their way out onto the grid. So, yeah, let us know, folks. I can already see we've got plenty of names in the live chat. A lot of support here for Geordie Slater. The one Haas getting a heads up here as well. Keep it coming, guys. Let us know who you're backing. And obviously plenty of names to look out for up at the top end as we now look to get started here. The opening round of the OFI starts here. The journey begins here at Spa Francorchamp. 7.004 kilometre circuit, that's 4.352 miles. 20 corners await the drivers with such hellacious corners as La Source, Eau Rouge Radion, Les Combes. They've got Rivage, Kemmel, as well as many others too. Of course, you've got the middle sector, which is tenacious. We saw how it affected many drivers in qualifying. Of course, we saw how it affected many in Sector 3 as well with the braking zone at the bus stop chicane, which has seen many amendments over the years and certainly a stark contrast of where it was back in the 90s. Of course, nowadays, it is vastly different as now we await the cars to go racing here this time around in a virtual sense around this Spa circuit. Of course, hosted the Grand Prix now for many, many years, 102 years in its existence. It's bypassed an entire century in existence here in racing. And as always, it's a pleasure to come here, even in the virtual sense, and bring some of the best racing you'll ever see in sim racing. But yeah, sit tight, folks. We're going to be in for one bumpy ride. Final thoughts from you, Jaden. What have you got for us?
I just can't wait to get it going. And yeah, there's plenty of action going to be on tonight. Yeah, so make sure you stick with us. And yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Yep, just a reminder, folks, as well, don't forget to check out the socials as now we await to go racing now as all 5 lights are lit. And it's pedal to the metal. And it is go, 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 go. Kieran Potter gets away off the line. Riley McKay as well challenging around the outside. But what a start for Kieran Potter, who consolidates the lead up at the front. Oscar King as well getting away well with Zachary Smith in behind. Geordie Slater, 5th fastest as well, with Ryan Bell slotting into 6th. Jack Humphreys hasn't moved a muscle in that 7th place. They climb up now through towards Kemmel. Riley McKay looking to turn the screw. They go side by side again now in behind Oscar King. Looking to filter his way through as well, trying to build up the leverage. Coming in towards Lake Com, it's still Kieran Potter who leads the way. Riley McKay in 2nd. Oscar King side by side between the 2 Hasses. And Zachary Smith takes 4th place away from Geordie Slater. Ryan Bell remains in 6th, but enter Jack Humphreys, who slides down the inside, heading through Rivage, wheel to wheel, through towards Jackie X Ben. They're side by side, nose to nose, tail to tail, wheel to wheel. You can't separate them. It's still Jack Humphreys over the Tiger line. He holds on to P6 as they exit through Puon.
Yeah, what an incredible battle that was between Jack Humphreys and Ryan Bell, and it could be still continuing here between the 2 of them. And yeah, plenty going on off the start. Incredible that Kieran Potter was able to hang on to the lead there. But as the drivers slowly start to settle in to their positions, Marcus Costa's had a great start. He's up 3 places. Ryan Bell still trying to chase down Jack Humphreys. And right behind him, Gregory Prisball is absolutely flying along. And he's trying to get up alongside him. Can't quite do it at this stage. And yeah, they just hold station for the moment. What a start.
Yeah, battle for the lead. Riley McKay around the outside here at the bus stop chicane. Now the McLaren going in deep as they look to take the Tiger line on exit as they begin lap 2 of 22. Riley McKay not content to wait as Kieran Potter crosses the line. The only problem is for Riley McKay, whilst he battles the Aston Martin in front of him here, it does leave him open to jeopardy. Slater and Smith still doing battle again. The Hasses not keen to work as a team here as they look to make their way up through Rouge and Radion. The Simo jumps ahead of Thomas McInnes as well for that 12th place as they come over the crest now and launch their way up the straight. Kieran Potter knows that he's going to be in trouble here because there's a long straight up through towards Lake Com. Riley McKay representing TF10 looking to go in deep around the outside. He commits to the inside now on exit, but they're going to run round Malmedy together, wheel to wheel, but it's Potter who holds on. Exceptional drivability, exceptional defence, a wall of defence keeping Riley McKay at bay.
I have no idea how Kieran Potter's still hanging on at this stage. He's on the hard tyres, Riley McKay on the softs. He should have a lot more pace. He should have definitely been able to fly through by now, but Kieran Potter's defence has been absolutely fantastic so far, and they're still going at it. In the meantime, Jack Humphreys into the pits on lap 1 to fit the medium tyres. I'm not sure if there was some sort of damage involved with that, and Jacob Conias had a moment down at the bus stop chicane as well, and he's dropped down into 19th place. But what an action-packed start we're having here. Battle for the lead is still going on, and Kieran Potter just hanging on at this stage.
Yeah, massive loss there for Jack Humphreys. He's going to lose a lot of places, but will have made an early stop onto the medium tyre, maybe citing that it wasn't the best move to start on the compound that he was on. Riley McKay, though, on the soft tyres has looked so impulsive. Now looking to try and perhaps move in towards the bus stop chicane. Kieran Potter, though, doing all the right things to keep him at bay. Despite being on the hard tyres, doing a great job of consolidating this lead. Now, this will help him later on. If he can keep the collective of cars behind him here, it will throw him a little bit of a bone later on. And heading now out of the first corner, of course, out of La Source. They're going to make their way up the crest now through Rouge and Radion. Still the Aston Martin leading the way. Riley McKay just sat in behind, just waiting for his opportunity to pounce here on our race leader. Lap 3 of 22, DRS now enabled. He opens up the rear wing, and this will certainly allow him to make the move. Riley McKay, certainly unperturbed, takes the lead of the race now here in the OFI at Spa Francorchamp. So now Kieran Potter has been broken up at the front end, but bear in mind, thanks to the use of DRS, and now the man on the soft tyres in the amber, blazing orange, it's Riley McKay who leads here at Spa Francorchamp.
Yeah, great move by Riley. Very much assisted with DRS there. And now these next few laps are going to be absolutely crucial for him. On those soft tyres, he's got to make up as much of an advantage as possible while those soft tyres are still got the pace, because those hard tyres are going to warm up and they are going to start to bring that gap down. As oh, sorry, there was a bit of a moment there for Kieran Potter. That was some internet issues, but I can confirm Jack Humphreys did have to change his wing on lap 1, so that was the reason why he's coming to the pits. And he started on the hard tyres, so that is definitely not good for his situation. He's got a lot of work to do for the rest of the race.
Yeah, there's a couple of other drivers to keep an eye on as well. Zachary Smith, who started on the hard tyres as well, 5th place. And Ryan Bell as well. They're looking to try and just stay with the group. Obviously, if they can just stay with those on the soft tyres, it will give them a great chance here. Kieran Potter, though, goes for the lead, takes the lead away. So despite being on the hards, we're still able to manufacture that overtake. And Oscar King now up into 2nd. Incredible. Ryan Bell also looking to commit too. He's looking to make a move down the inside on Zachary Smith as well. The battle between both cars that are on the hard compound tyre. Gregory Prisbell also looking to throw his name in the mix too. Through Rouge and Rally on. Ryan Bell on top in 5th place, but Zachary Smith not leaving his rear wing.
Yeah, now Oscar King's going to make a move for the lead on Kieran Potter. He's just made up 2 places in the space of a couple corners. Riley's flying along as well. Can't quite get through, but taking the lead is Zachary Smith and Gregory Prisbell going wheel to wheel. Gregory Prisbell gets through. Zach Smith has lost a place there to the Mercedes. Oscar King now in the lead of the race. There's a yellow at the back, and it's Huey who's gone off the track and I believe into the wall. I don't think he's picked up any damage from that. But yeah, Oscar King now in the lead of this race, and he's going to try and pull that gap. But Kieran Potter doing more than a solid job in 2nd place.
Yeah, he certainly is. Oscar King now with the lead, obviously benefiting off the back of the DRS, heading up the hill. Kieran Potter, though, having an immense drive here at this stage. Hard tyres, 3 laps accrued. Riley McKay on the softs as well. Now, this is not working ideally for Riley McKay because, of course, battling is all fine and well, but when you're on the softs, you need to start breaking away from those behind you. And the problem is his strategy was essentially negated with the use of softs to the likes of Oscar King, Geordie Slater and Gregory Prisbell, who are basically on the same strategy as he is, as we now see Thomas McInnes now making his way through into 11th place ahead of the Simo now as they head down through towards the bus stop chicane. Now, he's the highest runner on the medium compound tyre. Of course, you've got G-Force Leo as well down in 15th as well. Shuban Path as well as Huey and Jack Humphreys, who boxed onto a new set of medium tyres at the very start. Of course, our first driver to stop throughout the course of this race. Geordie Slater, once again, looking on the back of Riley McKay this time, who could be in the midst of losing yet another place, as we now see some battling further down. Seb losing places, and there is a yellow flag raised in Sector 1, as now we see the cars go over the crest. Kieran Potter again on the move as he opens up the DRS again on the hard tyres. I'm impressed by this young man. This is a fantastic display from Kieran Potter. Despite being the sole man on the hard tyres in the top 5, he's making it work for him and still able to keep those on the soft tyres at bay.
Yeah, the confidence of him has been unbelievable so far. Fantastic driving by Kieran Potter, and now he's snatched back that lead, and the more he's able to do this, the more the soft tyre runners are going to start to suffer. So the fact that Kieran Potter's taking the lead is absolutely fantastic. There was a bit of an incident, as you mentioned. Seb and Matt Plevy, I believe, came together at turn 1 there. They've dropped down quite a few places as a result, so unfortunate for them. But Kieran Potter still hanging on to that lead, and the DRS helping him out as well. Zachary Smith right on the back of Gregory Prisbell. This could start to kick off again as well.
Yeah, it certainly could do. Zachary Smith hovering all over the back of the Mercedes as it makes its way out to the next right-hander. Corbe Paul Frere coming up next, and then they've got a trip through towards Blanchimont. And lap 5 of 22 will conclude with Kieran Potter on top, at least for now. But half a second is the difference. He's just getting more and more confident here, Kieran Potter, making the moves where they're key. Obviously, I'm sure he'll lose out again heading up through Kemmel. Obviously, Oscar King still on his rear, but there will come a time when those softs start to deteriorate, and the likes of Zachary Smith have a great chance here. This isn't a bad scenario if you're Zachary Smith, because Kieran Potter's basically doing you a favour here. He's keeping these soft tyres right behind him, and it's keeping Zachary Smith in tow, along with Al Karudin and Ryan Bell, as well as Marcus Costa. they can follow suit. If you're on the hard tyre strategy right now, Jaden, you have a great chance, as now we see Zachary Smith getting a lovely launch, heading out to Eau Rouge and Radion as they come up the hill. We got a battle for the lead as well, as Oscar King looks to take it away here on lap 6, takes the lead away here at Spa Francorchamp and did it extremely well. Oh no! Zachary Smith is round. Smith is round.
Oh, that's absolutely heartbreaking for Zachary Smith. He just made that move, and now, as you can see, stopped on the track, waiting to get back on, and that is going to be absolutely heartbreaking. As you mentioned, he was in a great position. Kieran Potter doing him massive favours. The soft tyre runners just haven't been able to run away like they would have been hoping for when they picked that strategy at the start of the race, and it's bringing those hard tyre runners right into the game. But unfortunately for Zachary Smith, it's all gone wrong for him.
Certainly has. If you're on the hard tyres at this stage, like I said, you're in a great place. Kieran Potter just needs to hang on the back of Oscar King here throughout the final sector. Obviously, the more it continues, obviously the worse it gets for Oscar King, because he's not pulling away from Potter here at this stage. And the longer this carries on, the better the hards get, the worse the softs get. Riley McKay now hovering all over the rear as well. Bear in mind, he was fighting for the lead at the very start of this race. As we head down now in towards the bus stop chicane yet again to bring an end to lap 6 of 22. As you now see them make their way through those final 2 corners now. Oscar King takes them across the line, and lap 7 gets underway. Now DRS opened up here for Kieran Potter, as you'd expect. He won't take his chance though here at turn 1. He's going to wait and be patient. Of course, he's got another slalom to take as they go uphill through Eau Rouge and Radion. Riley McKay now watching every move he makes with Geordie Slater. Not far behind either. Al Karudin staying within DRS as well, towing along his teammate Ryan Bell as well, as we now expect Kieran Potter to go for the move. Just look at the speed difference here with the DRS opened up in the rear. Kieran Potter, no chance here for Oscar King to defend the place, as now Ryan Bell jumps ahead of his teammates. They make contact heading through Les Combes and very nearly ending in tears for both Red Bulls, but Ryan Bell doing enough to hang on. But now outside of the second gap, which means he could yet lose DRS, as the Simo gets a 3-second time penalty and our first of the race.
Yeah, that was a bit too close for comfort there between the Red Bulls. That's definitely not what they would have been wanting to see there, but thankfully they're both still in position. The top 8 are all within a second of each other. They've been able to hang on to the back quite brilliantly here at this stage, with Thomas McInnes just a couple seconds off that pack. And there's been a yellow out towards the back. It's Huey for a second time there, and the Williams has gone off. And that is unfortunate for him. He's not having the race that he would be looking for at this stage. But there's a very wide spread of tyres, all 3 compounds represented at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see what the soft tyre runners intend to do. I believe they'll be going onto the medium tyres at this stage. And I wonder what Kieran Potter's going to do with his strategy as well.
Yeah, I am getting word on my telemetry, folks. Light rain in 38 minutes. So that's the latest news I'm getting here. So we could yet see some changes as we make our way through the session. So sit tight as we now enter lap 8 of 22 with Kieran Potter still leading the way. Once again, Oscar King, you'd imagine, will go for the exchange for that top spot here on lap 8 of 22. They climb up through Eau Rouge and Radion, and then heading up the Camel Straight to once again visit the Les Combes section. Rear wing now open on Geordie Slater's car, as now in comes Oscar King. Once again snatches the lead away from Kieran Potter, who now sits in P2. Riley McKay in 3rd place, just 3/4 of a second in behind those in 2nd place as well. Credit to Ryan Bell. He's managed to rein in that delta that was separating he and Gregory Prisbill. Remember, it did stretch out to over a second while he was battling with Al Karudin, but has now brought it back in, so is retaining the DRS in behind the Mercedes here at this point. There's now a 2.5-second gap, though, between P9 and P8. Thomas McInnes now behind Marcus Costa, and well outside the DRS gap, so that places him very vulnerable to Jordan Arnold in behind.
Yeah, pressure right on at this stage of the race. This is a moment in the race where you just need to be able to keep it nice and consistent. We see the lead changing hands a few times, pretty much every lap at the moment. Kieran Potter using that to his advantage to keep him competitive with the soft tyre runners. But this is about the stage in the next few laps where those soft tyres are going to become quite a difficult beast to handle, and Kieran Potter will be absolutely flying along. He gets very close to the bus stop chicane there. He's got plenty of pace about him. But I also wonder if the choice for the hard tyres was taken into account with potential rain later on to prevent having an extra unnecessary pit stop as well. So definitely an interesting one to think about there also.
Yeah, pit window is open for Kieran Potter, so maybe considering an early box. We'll have to wait and see. It's interesting. I think those that are on the softs, though, will definitely be considering boxing this very lap. Let's wait and see. As now Potter rise up through Eau Rouge and Radillon, and then up through the Kemmel Straight. Oscar King still leads the way, but you'd imagine now, with the DRS opened up here, he will plumb for the move. Heading up through towards Lake Com, the Aston Martin of Kieran Potter. Relentless, and certainly never say die attitude from the mean green machine. The Aston Martin, Kieran Potter, showing all the plaudits he gained from qualifying when snatching pole position at the very last minute. That clutch performance is now turning into a consolidation after a very, very strong opening stint. He's going to come into the pit stop phase potentially as the race leader overall, which works out exceptionally in terms of his race strategy.
Yeah, this is better than anything I think he could have imagined when he saw the tyre compounds at the start of the race. But he has been absolutely brilliant in this race so far. And if he can bring home this win, this will be one of the more talked about performances in OFI here as Huey picks up a 3-second penalty. He's down in 20th, just not having the impact that he is wanting on this race so far as we come to the final sector here. And we're going to get ready for another round of DRS down the Kemmel Straight as Oscar King still trying to make his way through on Kieran Potter. Will we see any pit stops here this lap from the soft tyre runners? It looks like, yep, Oscar King's coming in, Ryan Bell, and a lot of drivers coming in now. So we've got Oscar King, Riley Mackay, Geordie Slater, Ryan Bell, and Gregory Brisbane coming into the pits.
Yep, so this is it now. Al Caroud in and Marcus Costa as well as Kieran Potter. They now need to start pushing because, of course, this is a chance for them to utilise the overcuts here and consolidate that lead because, of course, remember now, the soft tyres being binned off. It's now going to be the medium tyres for all of those that started on that soft compound. So there you have it. Jacob Cornius, Matt Plevey, they're going to be up ahead of them as well, as we now see Oscar King make his way back out onto the circuit. So there you have it. Your technically net race leader, Oscar King, because of course he now leads those that have already now handled their pit stops. But how is the traffic going to play a factor? Because now we can see he's got a teammate in front of him, Matt Plevey, who is on the hard tyres at this point. 9 laps accrued on them. Obviously, Oscar King is on a faster compound, but with him being stuck behind his Ferrari counterpart, how is that going to affect his run now in a very fragile time here, Jaden?
Yeah, it's absolutely crucial, the traffic, and you can see Oscar King right behind Matt Plevey there. He needs to try and make way here, I think, if he wants to get that lead of the race here, but he's just not finding any way through. This is holding him up absolutely massively here, and in the meantime, Jack Humphreys made a move on Zach Smith down the main straight. That would have been pleasing for him, as there goes Oscar King, finally allowed through by his teammate. But yeah, Jack Humphreys and Zach Smith, he didn't let him go through easily, but he did find his way through, and now Matt Plevey starting to let those new tyre runners make their way through, and it's going to be massive here. Will the hard tyre runners pit to try and maintain their position, or will they stay out a little bit longer?
We'll have to wait and see. Shubman Path also looking to get past GeForce Leo as they head down into bus stop. Chooses against making the move as we head through now this next segment, and into the pits comes GeForce Leo. So that is a medium tyre compound that we're now going to be seeing exchange. Now, will he go? No doubt, surely he's got to go on the hard tyres. It has to be done, surely, unless he does pick for a bold move onto the softs. We'll have to wait and see. Sit tight, folks at home, as we now await, obviously, for those changes. GeForce Leo does indeed plumb for the hard tyre. That is, of course, expected. Have a look at the top, though. Kieran Potter, 2.8 seconds ahead of Marcus Costa. Now, remember, that gap was minimal at the beginning of the start. So Kieran Potter starting to really put in the burner laps here as he looks to pull off the most gargantuan overcut we have ever seen.
Yeah, this is just continues to get better and better from Kieran Potter. He would have had to push hard to defend those soft tyre runners. So the fact that he's still got those lap times that he can pump in and try and get away from the drivers behind is fantastic to see, as Gregory Prisball gets a 3-second. Now that's huge in the context of the race, and so does Marcus Costa. So a few drivers struggling with the track limits here, it seems. Yeah, and also the likes of Geordie Slater now getting past Matt Plevey, who's still yet to box, and now Jack Humphreys is going to look to make those same moves. Remember, he was the first car to box
earlier on, as they already got 9 laps accrued on his medium tyres. Of course, we've seen a couple of cars now come into the pits to exchange 8-lap-old mediums. Of course, we just witnessed them do that just now. And also, joining him, Gregory Prisbill, who is now stuck behind Jack Humphreys. And one thing we know about Humphreys, he's a tenacious racer, a competitive driver. He's not just going to let Gregory Prisbill through, because he's effectively, he is on track here. Jack Humphreys is racing at this point, and just outside the top 10 as well. So we've got a 3-car scramble as they make their way heading through the Blanchimont section. Unfortunately for Gregory Prisbill, he's stuck behind these 2 cars now. The Ferrari not giving in an inch as Matt Pleavy looks to defend the place. Very nearly 3 wide heading in towards bus stop. Jack Humphreys, though, forcing the issue. Holds on to 10th place now as well, as into the pits comes Marcus Costa. That's our first car on the hard tyres that has come into box, and Kieran Potter as well has joined him. So there we have it. This is the moment where we could see some changes being made, and Potter has sunk below Oscar King. Oscar King is your net race leader here at the Oceania F1 Invitational event. He leads here in a net context. He's P3 overall.
Yeah, Kieran Potter losing out, not just Oscar King, but also Riley Mackay, Ryan Bell, and Geordie Slater. So unfortunately, probably not the position he'd want to be in, but he would have assumed the risk there that he would lose a few places by staying out those extra couple laps, but he will have the advantage of fresh tyres. It's just, does he back in his overtaking ability to be able to get through those cars in front?
Yeah, winner of the OFI4 evaluation race. Of course, this man, Oscar King, he has pedigree. He knows how to win races. He's certainly featured at the very top of league racing as well. You do not want to count him out, as you'd expect, obviously, from a driver that represents the likes of ET8 in championships and things of that nature, and is a very strong representative as well. Currently 3rd fastest in this classification, and currently chasing after Shubman Parth for P2 as well. Parth still yet to pit. Thomas McInnes leads, but he is still yet to box as well, despite being 3.3 seconds in front. Oscar King, though, going for the move. P2 on track, up for grabs. The Ferrari finds the Tiger line through Blanchimont. Brilliant move there from Oscar King, necessary as well, and this will allow him to break away from Riley Mackay and Ryan Bell in behind. If he can throw the odd car in between them, that could throw the DRS, as in comes Shubman Parth into the pits. Thomas McInnes comes in as well. Oscar King leads here at Belgium.
Yeah, and Ryan Bell into turn 1, wheel to wheel with Riley Mackay. Tried to find a way around the outside, couldn't quite do it. But it got very tense between those two just for a moment. Ryan Bell slots in behind, but he's going to have that DRS advantage here as we make our way through Eau Rouge and now up to the Kemmel Straight. And he's going to make it even before the DRS is open, Ryan Bell. What a fantastic exit that was. And up into 2nd place he goes. Kieran Potter not far behind. Makes the move on Geordie Slater. That's a huge move. That's 4th position. And now Gregory Prisbill down the inside of Geordie Slater into 5th. So they are not wasting any time here. And Kieran Potter up into 4th. And the chase is now on for those podium places.
Yeah, another fantastic display as well from BPV8. Remember, he retired at the very first session of qualifying, didn't even lay a time down. He is now P11 on track. He's gained near enough 9 places in the space of this race. 13 laps accrued, as now we see GeForce Leo as well making the moves as well. Powers past the Simo for 12th place, and enter as well Thomas McInnes, who is on fresh soft tyres and will be quick in this latter stint. Outside line through Pouon. McInnes now through to 13th in absolutely fabulous style. Incredible battles throughout the field, but look at Kieran Potter. He's coming into the fight. He's 4th place, 1 second away from Riley Mackay, and he's on 1 lap old medium tyres, 2 lap fresher than the top 3 ahead of him.
Yeah, he's pushing hard as well, Kieran Potter, but what a brave move that was by Thomas McInnes around the outside of Pouon. The race, you're putting your race on the line, and he has done it fantastically. And this top 3 and top 4 now all have DRS of one another. And yep, as Kieran Potter knocks in that fastest lap time, so he is right there in amongst it. So it's going to be huge as we come through up Eau Rouge to the Kemmel Straight. What moves are going to be made here, if any? Ryan Bell still trying to chase down Oscar King. Ryan Bell up 4 places in this race as well, so he's been fantastic so far. He's going to have the DRS now. Oscar King, a sitting duck here, and Ryan Bell should be able to take the lead off him here, and he does. And Ryan Bell now into the lead of the race. Oscar King will have to settle for 2nd, but Kieran Potter not quite able to get past Riley into 3rd there, but we do have a new leader here, and it's Ryan Bell.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's starting to turn up now here, folks. I tell you what, strap yourselves in. Ryan Bell leads the way. Oscar King now in second. Riley McKay in third. Kieran Potter, who has been on a sterling performance, a sterling drive. Whilst it looked like the overcut didn't necessarily work at the time in terms of losing on-track position against the likes of Oscar King, Riley McKay and Ryan Bell, I'll tell you what, the picture has turned somewhat now with 2 lap fresher tyres on that Aston Martin as they head through the Lafanier chicane. And within 0.4 of a second, Kieran Potter now starting to probe the back of Riley McKay's McLaren as they head through this next double right-hander. And then they'll have the Blanchimont section to take a look at the Aston Martin now. I tell you what, I'd be very surprised if he doesn't make a move this time around, because that pace has certainly been lighting things up at the front end. 1.8 seconds separates Gregory Prisball now. He's looking to dig deep to try and gain time. Kieran Potter, who's also looking to gain time of his own as well, looks to the outside as he makes his way through towards bus stop, defending the place. Riley McKay as they now make their way out to the final corner. Now it's still Ryan Bell who leads, but a great chance here now for Kieran Potter. There are 2 groups of cars split now in between, as now we see Potter make a move down the inside now, heading through La Source. He cuts it deep, holds it tight. The aggressive Tiger line now working out for Potter as he now takes P3 away from Riley McKay. Ryan Bell, who's been leading now the charge over the course of the last lap. He'll have Oscar King who will join him, but Kieran Potter is also going to throw himself into the mix as well. They climb the hill, heading up through Kemmel. Riley McKay joining the fray as well. They battle again for third place. Oscar King now with the lead. Oh my goodness me. Potter's out. Potter's out. He's lost the car. Riley McKay has also binned it as well. And now Al Karudin, Geordie Slater, they're all coming into the mix as well. And the front wing is broken on Riley McKay's car. Oh, dearie me. What could have been for both of Riley McKay and also Kieran Potter after a stellar qualifying session. They've thrown it all away here.
Oh, that's absolute heartbreak for Kieran Potter. His pace has been absolutely unmatched throughout qualifying and the race so far. And I think it just got a little bit too tight there. Oscar King and Ryan Bell were battling for the lead, and Kieran Potter and Riley McKay coming in behind as well were battling wheel to wheel. It just got a little bit too close, and unfortunately it's ended in tears for a couple of them now, but that does bring the opportunity now. Big Al's up into third. He's up 8 places in the race for Red Bull. Geordie Slater up into fourth, and Gregory Prisball chasing him down. And here we go again here. The Mercedes and the Haas. This is not the first time they've come together, and they're towards the bus stop chicane. Gregory Prisball going to have a go around the outside. If he can make this move, this will be fantastic. Oh. And he has done it. What a fantastic move there by Gregory Prisball. And now Marcus Costa makes his way up through into fifth as well. Geordie Slater loses 2 places in the space of 1 corner, and Gregory Prisball makes his way through into fourth as Riley's out of the race in the pit lane. Unfortunately, that damaged too much for him, and Kieran Potter in the pits as well. Yeah, it looks like it could be the end for both drivers here at this point now as we see them cruise up through Rouge and Radion. We got a battle for the lead as well because Ryan Bell and Oscar King are going at it again. King now falling behind as Ryan Bell takes the lead of the race here at this point, utilising that DRS, and now makes his way to the front of the field with Al Karudin now in third place. A great chance for it to be a Red Bull a Red Bull podium here on this occasion, with certainly Ryan Bell leading the charge. Whilst they're not necessarily teammates, this is an individual championship. 2 Red Bulls once again featuring, even in an online sense, as they now take places Ps1 and Ps3 here in the top end. We're now on lap 16 of 22. 7 laps of magic remain, well, I should say 6 laps of magic remain here through this race here. The opening round of the Oceania F1 Invitational. Ryan Bell now with a great chance to bring it home, but Oscar King sharing the same amount of laps on his tyres. We could yet see a twist up though in terms of what's going to happen in the top 5, because Geordie Slater is in P6, but he has not got a single time penalty against him. Same cannot be said, however, for the likes of Marcus Costa and Gregory Prisball. So a great chance for Slater to march his way into the top 4 and maybe more. Yeah, whilst Marcus Costa and Gregory Prisball have driven brilliantly, those penalties are going to hurt them towards the end of this race. So Geordie Slater will see that opportunity, and he's got a chance here if he can make his way through both of them. And Oscar King will be nervous with the Red Bulls both in front and behind him. So he'll be looking to clear Ryan Bell, but it doesn't look like this battle is going to go away anytime soon. And Oscar King is going to shape up to take the lead back here Fantastic exit, and now the DRS open is going to go around the outside, and it's going to be no troubles for him at all in that Ferrari, and he takes the lead back before the braking zone. And once again, the Kemmel Straight, Kieran Potter has retired in the pits. A massive shame for him. Heartbreak. It was shaping up to be a brilliant finish. Unfortunately for him, it's ended very unfortunately for him.
Yeah, I think obviously for fan value and obviously off the back of what we saw in qualifying, I think we were robbed of a great battle, I think, at the very end, which is a big shame because Kieran Potter was on a sensational run, came into the pits, has obviously now decided to retire. Big shame that had to end up that way. I'm not sure what the catalyst was. I'm sure there'll be some investigations afterwards, but Riley McKay, unfortunately, coming together with Kieran Potter, whether it was a defensive effort on Riley's part to prevent the move from happening, that could be a factor. But obviously, what is apparent is that both drivers are out of the race. Oscar King leads the way, though. Al Karudin now losing time, so it is very much a two-horse race at this stage. Marcus Costa has managed to throw himself within the podium contention because he's now 6/10 away from Al Karudin and has got a lap fresher tyres than him as well. So we could yet see a change-up for P3, but it's the battle for the lead that we are interested in. Incidentally, folks, if you want to get involved as well, you can vote for your driver of the day, and you can utilise the link that Oceania F1 Invitational have utilised in the live chat. So make sure you jump on board and place your vote for the driver you think that has impressed you throughout the course of this race. We're on lap 18 of 22, and Oscar King is going to come under significant pressure now because here comes Ryan Bell.
Yep, and now Ryan Bell should be able to take it back again. It's just a game of chess at the moment. Ryan Bell is going to fly through once again into the lead of the race, and there's been so many fantastic drivers here today. Al Karudin up 8 places into third, Ryan Bell up 5 into the lead, and speaking of, here goes Marcus Costa into third position, and hasn't he been fantastic in that AlphaTauri? He started the race in 14th, he's made his way up into the podium positions, does have a penalty, but if he can keep at this pace, he is definitely on for a great finish here.
Yeah, he certainly is. Marcus Costa now up to P3, but needs to start putting the work in now. 4 laps to go, and needs to try and muscle in enough delta in order to counteract the penalty that he has obviously received. Al Karudin now down to 4th. Quite the gap, though, between him and Gregory Brisbille, so he has got essentially nothing that necessarily concerns him from behind. Marcus Costa, who has had a very fast ending to this race now, is starting to claw in at the delta between him and P2. So Oscar King and Ryan Bell about to be faced with a visitor with 2 lap fresher tyres. So this could change the complexion here with 4 laps to go here, Jaden.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Marcus Costa is just on a different level in terms of pace compared to the other drivers at the moment. If he didn't have that penalty, this would absolutely be very exciting to watch. But Oscar King still chasing down Ryan Bell, so the win might just be a little bit too far of a reach for Marcus Costa at this stage, but he has definitely been in the spotlight here and has shown some incredible speed, and I think there'll be a few people looking at that and being very impressed so far today. And Oscar King, in the meantime, is about to make this move once again on Ryan Bell, you would have thought.
Yeah, absolutely right indeed. He's just tracking them right now as they make their way up the hill. And just look at that, number of places gained for Marcus Costa. 11 places, started in P14. Here comes now Oscar King, looking to make the move here this time around. Ryan Bell going defensive to the inside as they head up through towards Lake Com. It's going to be easy here, and certainly not risking it for a biscuit. Oscar King snaps it up instantly and takes the lead here. Al Karudin also snapping up P3 in the process, utilising that DRS to jump ahead of Marcus Costa. Both cars now within DRS of P2 of Ryan Bell. So this race is well and truly not over because Al Karudin doesn't have a single penalty. And if he gets himself to a close position where he can challenge, he's a lap fresher on tyres ahead of Oscar King and Ryan Bell. There's a huge chance that Al Karudin could be the winner of this race.
Yeah, has emerged here as a new challenger. 2 Red Bulls versus 1 Ferrari. Surely there's got to be some good teamwork here. If they do it right, they could potentially manufacture a 1-2 finish here. It's going to be difficult. We know how good Oscar King has been all race long, but Ryan Bell's slipping away a little bit. He's dropped to about 9/10. Maybe he could be letting his teammate get up to the back of him here, as we see Al Karudin catching up to about 6/10 now, but Ryan Bell slowly slipping out of Oscar King's DRS here. He's got to be careful. If he gets away, he might not be able to catch him again.
No, he might be in trouble here. 8 tenths away now from Oscar King. Up at the front end now. Lap 19 of 22 will become lap 20 of 22. Oscar King now in front, but the gap not significant enough to lose DRS for Ryan Bell. Jack Humphreys now up to 9th place. What a recovery drive this has been from Jack Humphreys. Of course, after succumbing to that wing damage at the very start, he's now not far away from matching where he started on track. And bear in mind, he doesn't have a single penalty to his name either, so he could benefit off the back of that too as the cars now climb the hill. Now, could this be the first time where the DRS doesn't help Ryan Bell take the lead of the race, because Oscar King, with a substantial gap ahead of it, well, certainly between them, and that's enabled King to stay on. So that could prove to be a huge catalyst here at this point. Gregory Prisball now up to 5th as he levies himself higher against Geordie Slater. But for the first time in a long, long time, we haven't seen the lead swap through DRS usage, which means that Ryan Bell could now be in trouble because Al Karudin is right on his tail.
Yeah, it's a huge, huge moment, and you can see Ryan Bell struggling through the middle part of the lap here. He was close to Oscar King, but he just seems to be struggling a little bit more than Oscar King at the moment. There's a couple laps to go. Maybe it's strategy, maybe just waiting for the right moment to pass. But yeah, in the meantime, as you mentioned, Jack Humphreys, he's got to be in contention for driver of the day as well. Down to 20th and now back up to 8th, and still potential for him to gain a couple more places there. But the top 3 have not been this close since the beginning. Marcus Costa, don't forget about him. He's right in the mix as well, ready to pick up the pieces. But this is going to be a huge lap here because Al Karudin is almost in range of not just Ryan Bell, but Oscar King also. Yeah,
absolutely. Ryan Bell now currently sat in 2nd place and nearly within 2 tenths of a second. But that exit out of bus stop certainly wasn't graceful. And Al Karudin could bring himself into the mix, but Marcus Costa is still there and waiting too as we head down through towards the La Source section. Now head out now through towards Eau Rouge and Radion. Oscar King now once again leads here. Penultimate lap of the race, folks. We've only got a small matter of this one and the next one to come to decide the first winner of the OFI series in what can only be described as a very dramatic race that has seen incidents, overtakes, plenty of them, and certainly a baffling qualifying session. Ryan Bell this time, though, can go for the lead, but he's choosing not to. Relents here at this point. Now, that's a risky strategy because, of course, you do leave yourself open to scrutiny against Al Karudin, and Marcus Costa didn't make the move either. Geordie Slater moves up to 5th place as well, but Oscar King solidifying his place at the top, at least for now, and knows that he needs to extend because, of course, the next lap will be the final lap, and with it being the final time they'll take the Kemmel Straight DRS straight, you can bet your bottom dollar that Ryan Bell is putting all his chips to the centre of the table, and he's going to leave it to the last minute.
Yeah, absolutely huge here. Oscar King has got to push like hell here if he wants to pull away from Ryan Bell, because if he doesn't get far enough away, there's not going to be much he can do to defend it. But Al Karudin definitely has a huge opportunity here. Ryan Bell obviously taking a big risk here because it looks like Oscar King has the superior pace at this moment. It's just that DRS that's going to save him here. Marcus Costa also hanging on to the back of Al Karudin. But yeah, huge last lap coming up here. It's all going to be decided. Ryan Bell getting ever closer to Oscar King, and it's game on here for the final lap around Spa. It's going to be huge here.
It certainly will be. They'll cross the line now for the second last time, because the next time they cross, it'll decide the winner. Oscar King takes them round. Final lap of the race, everybody. And look at Ryan Bell, a lock up from Oscar King. Now, is that a little bit of nerves? Is that some trepidatiousness coming through from the man in the Ferrari as they look to climb up now through towards Eau Rouge and Radion? We run on board with Ryan Bell as he now skips over the top, very nearly losing the car, but doing well to hold on to it. The energy flashing on the back of the Ferrari as Ryan Bell goes for the lead of the race. They head up through towards Lake Cobb. He takes the lead as well. The Red Bull now in front, and look at the tyre difference. Only mere fractions as they share the same amount of time on the same compound of tyre, but it's Ryan Bell who leads here on the final lap here at Spa.
What timing that was, Ryan Bell. He put it all into that final lap there, and hasn't he executed it absolutely to perfection? All he's got to do is hold it together. Oscar King is going to do his absolute best here. He's also running low on fuel. He's going to try his absolute hardest. And Ryan Bell has just got a 3-second penalty. He has left the track. All he needed to do was stay on. And all of a sudden, the win has just slipped away for him.
Yeah, just treading over those white lines. Unfortunately, could have cost him this race. And naturally, at this point now, certainly the money is stacked in the favour of Oscar King with Al Karudin as well in behind too. A dramatic twist here in the tail on the final lap here at Spa Francorchamp. And surely Ryan Bell, after taking the lead, would have reached his highest point, but now has reached his lowest with the prospects of finishing outside the podium places. A late move here as well for Al Karudin, who's essentially going for the lead of the race. Incredible deciding factor here at this point at Spa Francorchamp. What are we seeing? They come up towards the line. Ryan Bell comes across in front. Al Karudin wins the first race here in the Oceania F1 Invitational in absolutely bizarre fashion.
Oh, I'm in awe. What an unbelievable finish that was. Al Karudin, it looked like Oscar King had it in the bag. It looked like Ryan Bell had it in the bag. 3 different drivers had a chance to win that race, and the move into the final corner, into the bus stop chicane, gets him the win. And wow, what a spectacular finish. Surpassed, I think, everyone's expectations there. What a race we have just seen.
What a race indeed. Al Karudin is your race winner here at Spa Francorchamp. He left it to the very last minute, but he is now a leader. He is a winner here as well in the Red Bull, and now sees himself higher than Oscar King with a brave move around the outside at bus stop chicane, and did it in great style. Ryan Bell will be seething after claiming that time penalty coming through the Pouhon section. Marcus Costa too would have been wondering what could have been after that splendid return drive that saw him gain near enough 11 places, now 10 places obviously at the very end of the race, driving all the way from P14 up to 4th place, 10 places. Absolutely heroic drive. But nevertheless, what a performance. Oscar King gave it everything, but even he couldn't foresee Al Karudin coming around the outside. It was a tremendous drive. The game gives Al Karudin driver of the day. Make sure you register your vote as well, folks, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be plenty to pick from. But what a sensational moment. A very brave call to send it around the outside at the very last moment there. But I'm sure Al Karudin will treasure that as probably one of his greatest victories he has ever managed to obtain in a league racing scenario.
Yeah, well, didn't that finish just absolutely below everyone's mind? I don't think anyone saw that coming. Ryan Bell will be absolutely devastated. He drove a fantastic race. They all did up in the top 3. But just left the track there at Pouhon. It's so easy to do, and just a loss in concentration, whether it was nerves or I'm not sure, but unfortunately it's cost him 2 positions. Oscar King as well has to be applauded. The gap between Al Karudin and Oscar King, under a 1/10 of a second, it does not get closer than that. And yeah, that race will be talked about for a long, long time to come. And I don't know what to say. I'm lost for words.
Well, there you have it, folks. The final standings, or certainly final classification, and it reads like this. Al Karudin is your race winner. Oscar King in 2nd place. Ryan Bell makes it a 2-part Red Bull podium with Marcus Costa 4th, Geordie Slater 5th, Gregory Prisbill, despite that dynamic final stint, finishing in 6th. Jack Humphreys in 7th place. Obviously, with the penalties accrued, he gains 1 place on where he started. That's a great drive from Jack Humphreys. Jordan Arnold in 8th. Jacob Conius in 9th. GeForce Leo in 10th. Thomas McInnes in 11th, with Shubman Path in 12th place. Zachary Smith in 13th, with Matt Plevey in 14th. BPV8 as well down in 15th place, with the Simo in 16th. And then we lost a few other drivers as well. But nevertheless, it was certainly a battle. It was absolutely sensational. What a way to kick things off here at the OFI Invitational. And a dramatic move at the very last minute, Jaden. I mean, what was not to enjoy at that moment?
Oh, that is set a standard extremely high bar for what we're going to see for the rest of the races here. But I hope everyone at home enjoyed that, watching it on the stream, because that was an absolute blast. And from qualifying all the way to the final lap, there was entertainment at every corner. So yeah, it was absolutely brilliant to watch.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, it was a pleasure. I obviously very rarely do you see moves getting made at that final corner, certainly heading through bus stop, but leaving it to the very last moment, it was absolutely thrilling and a real ride as well to watch too. I'm pleased to say that we are joined by some drivers as well, and I'm pleased to say that Marcus Costa is in fact joining us at this stage. Marcus, can you hear us?
2 seconds, guys.
Well, you're coming through loud and clear, my friend. Yeah, wonderful performance from your part as well. He's actually just bowing out for a second. He will be right back, folks, I can assure you. I think he's back now anyway. Marcus, an absolutely sensational drive on your part. Obviously, I think we witnessed something quite special off the back of that one. P4, but I guess you could have perhaps expected a little more given your performance, and obviously the penalty wasn't ideal.
Yeah, the penalty in the end got me. Obviously cost me the podium, which was disappointing, but to bounce back like that from my poor qualifying performance, I'm immensely proud of that drive.
Yeah, I mean, it was a huge fight back, wasn't it? Because, of course, you started P14, you gained 10 places through the race, so that provides all the hallmarks of a great strategy, but also the fact that your race pace was dialed in to the forefront. I mean, you've got to be pleased with that, right?
Yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled because I went for the overcut, which cost me a little bit on exit. I was quite a way back from the leading pack, but yeah, as I just came back through with some battery and fresher tyres, it allowed me to make the moves with relative ease, and obviously there was a bit of stuff that went my way in terms of other drivers coming together, but overall I think I put in the best performance I possibly could have tonight, so yeah, I can walk away happy.
Definitely something to be proud of. I mean, obviously getting this championship off to a positive start is one thing. You can look ahead now with 3 events to go. Obviously, we've got another one tomorrow, and then we come back in December. I mean, how do you sort of summarise today? Do you take confidence from it? Do you look ahead with positivity to the remaining 3 rounds we have left in this series?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, the qualifying one went a bit against me. The game was saying it was going to be drying up towards the end of the session, but it actually got heavy rain, so I guess that's a bit of my own fault. I should have gone out. But race pace, I proved to myself that I can obviously compete up there. So that's a good sort of side note to put to myself going forward into the next 3 rounds.
Yeah, and I'm also pleased to say that you have actually been voted Driver of the Day. So massive congratulations for that. And, will you be celebrating? Is there going to be a shoey of sorts?
Possibly. I might actually, I'll promise a shoey. There will be one. There will be one.
Fantastic. We love to hear it. Hey, Marcus, congratulations. Tremendous performance, and we wish you the best for the rest of the series.
Cheers, George. Appreciate it.
That's great. Marcus Costa, everybody. A fantastic performance. Ryan Bell also joins us. He must be feeling just a little sore despite getting the podium. Obviously for Red Bull, 2-part Red Bull podium, remember, folks. Ryan, it was a tremendous fight from yourself, mate. Obviously a huge battle right towards the end. Some mix-ups as well as you made your way through, but you must take solace in the fact that you were very competitive.
Hey, mate. Yeah, it was a pretty good race, to be honest, but I'm lacking pace just because lack of practice. And yeah, on that last lap I got a warning, but I think I might be able to get one removed from the start of the race on the first lap, so hopefully I can get the penalty gone.
Well, there's a good chance for that. Obviously, it was quite helter-skelter. There was some decision-making with the DRS towards the very end. We see it time and time again with Kemmel Straight towards that. Obviously, Oscar King was obviously trying to be, I think, a little bit, trying to be, patient of sorts. But obviously, with that scrap that ensued towards the very end, did you even factor in that your teammate Al Karudin could essentially take race victory at the very death? Because it seemed quite outrageous, the move heading down towards bus stop on his part.
Yeah, well, I saw Al coming, and I was keeping in the back of my mind that he might be able to overtake both of us on the straight, so had to keep watch of that. But I had a lot of straight line speed, so it wasn't really going to be a problem for me.
No. Well, obviously, we'll have to wait and see whether that penalty is removed. But looking ahead, obviously, we've got still 3 rounds to go. Is there anything that you pinpoint, any circuits in particular that you see as your strong suit?
I think I'm pretty good at Austria, but I mean, everyone's good at Austria, so I'm just a bit mid at every track at the moment, so we'll see how it goes. Well,
we'll see how you get on. Obviously, we'll wish you the very best, but congratulations nonetheless on a great podium, and we'll wait and see what the penalty situation what it does for you anyway.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you, Ryan. Podium sitter as well for the Red Bull team. So congratulations to him on that. Obviously, we've got plenty more to talk about, folks. I'm just trying to see. We've got a driver joining us as well. I think it's a McLaren. It doesn't show the full names on Discord, unfortunately, so I don't know who it is. But can you give us some insight, Jaden, on as to who this person is?
It's Oscar King, I believe.
Oh, right,
second
Oscar.
place finisher in the Ferrari. Yeah.
Oscar King. Oscar King joins us in the commentary box. It shows up as P in our commentary box. But Oscar, fantastic display nonetheless. And obviously a huge battle towards the very end. Are you a little disappointed, though, to lose out to Al Karudin?
Yeah, obviously, when it's so tight like that, a lot of things I can look back on and go, not quite optimized here and there, But, I drove well, and I'm proud of how I drove, and lots of things to, reflect on to optimize for future races.
Did he catch you off guard a little bit? Obviously, it's coming down to the final two corners on the circuit in the final lap. Very rarely do we see a move being made at the very death, especially in such a precarious location on circuit. Whilst it's obviously an opportunistic one, it's also risky. Were you surprised in any way that Al Karudin pulled off the move he did?
No, not surprised. I knew that he had a slight battery and tyre advantage. I took some risks early on with the battery to try and break the train. If they'd paid off, I probably would have got the win. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but I played a win, so I went for it and didn't quite work out. But yeah.
Well, it was a great performance from yourself as well, though. I mean, you kept consistent. The opening stint was strong. The pit stop phase, you led on the outset of the pit stops, which was obviously put you in a very strong position. You are a former winner as well. You're a winner of the evaluation races when coming into OFI4. So you have some promise. You have some pedigree in this championship. Looking ahead, do you think that this is the start of a big season for you?
Oh, it's very kind, George. We'll see how we go. But yeah, we'll just keep working and see what happens.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing it in any regard anyway. So congratulations, Oscar, on a fantastic podium, and we'll wish you the best for the rest of the series.
Cheers, boys.
Thank you. That's Oscar King, everybody. Last but not least, we do have Al Karudin joining us here. Of course, Big Al here in the commentary box as well. Al, a fantastic display from yourself, a fantastic large ditch move, which I think sent the audience spinning at the very end. Just talk us through it. You must be thrilled.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. I would like to apologize first for my broken English to the audience.
That's okay. That's fine.
But yeah. I don't know. I feel like I was not the quickest, nor I was not the best driver here. But I just tried to keep it clean, and yeah, on the last lap at the bus stop chicane, I saw my opportunity there. I got a bit more ERS than Oscar and Ryan, so I was like, yeah, I got nothing to lose anyway, so I just sent it.
Yeah, well, you certainly did. I mean, right into the final moment, through the finest of margins, the gap was minimal, but yet you managed to squeeze the Red Bull where it needed to be. And how crucial do you think that will be in terms of your championship? Because it was quite a hellacious race. You did well, though, to fight back, because you broke out of the DRS when you were down in P3 at one point. I think you were 1.4 seconds behind at one time, but you managed to claw it back in, obviously, in your scrap that you had nonetheless. You must take a lot of positives from that, because, like you say, you weren't necessarily the quickest, but you proved that you could, I suppose, utilize a little bit of racecraft, a little bit of smart knowledge of the game and how the system works, and essentially give yourself the best chance towards the very end.
I mean, let's be honest here. I'm probably not going to win the championship. I know I'm aiming to win it, but I just looking to have fun and looking to race with my friends and just have a good time, and then let's see what I can do against the best of the on the region. So it's not really something that I'm look forward to, or the championship or whatever, but yeah, I just look to have fun and drive well, and then I don't care really about the result. I just try to have a good time, to be honest. So yeah.
Well, you've had success with Ryan Bell in the past. I mean, you won an OFI1 team event for AFR before with him. And obviously, again, you must be looking ahead to, after what can only be described as a great result for both of you as Red Bulls. Obviously, I appreciate this is an individual event, not necessarily a team event. But it does go to show that you do have a lot of pace, and you haven't lost any ability from that OFI1 event. I mean, looking ahead, where do you see this championship going for you?
Hopefully, I mean, I don't know. It's just hopefully I can drive well and score some points, or get into top 5 every race, the next 3 race or whatever. But yeah, and about Ryan Bell and Potsy and T-Mac, we've been racing for almost 4 years now, so we're pretty much a good friend. So to be honest, we just have a good time. And then even in the VC, it's not something like we take it seriously. We just talk, or it's something that I do for a hobby. It's not something that I try to be good at or something. I don't know, I'm just waffling at this moment. So yeah.
Well, I tell you what, I'll save you the pain, I'll save you the problem. But no, nevertheless, congratulations on a stellar result. Congratulations on scoring the 25 points as well. And we'll wish you the very best for the rest of the championship.
Can I say something?
Of course you can. Go ahead.
I would like to give a shout out to my family business restaurant in Melbourne. I live in Melbourne. I'm a Malaysian citizen. I just live here. So yeah, we open a restaurant at 108 Foster Street at Dandenong in Melbourne. If someone or any one of you want to try Malaysian food, feel free to come, and you might even see me there. And I would like to give a shout out to my BDE friends. It's a group that we call, and yeah, we've been together for a long time, and so I just would like to give a shout out to them, and shout out to my parents and my brothers and sister. So thank you guys, thank you everyone.
That's very nice. I tell you what, if I ever find myself in Melbourne, I'll go and visit the restaurant. That sounds like a great idea to me. Thank you, Big Al. Congratulations, my friend, and we'll see you next time. We'll see you tomorrow, in fact.
Bye bye.
Take care, Big Al. Well, there we have it, and we like wholesomeness in league racing. That's wholesome right there. Fantastic. I mean, what an event. How do you summarize that, Jaden? I think it was, like we said, excitement all the way around. Strategy came in. Qualifying was a factor. The weather was a factor. We had everything tonight, did we not?
Oh, yeah, it was action-packed, drama-filled. I think all round it was just a beautiful race. I hope everyone enjoyed watching it, because I certainly enjoyed commentating. I'm sure you did as well. But yeah, if that's the standard, then bring on the rest of the races. I can't wait. Absolutely. And of course, we've got 4 different commentators joining me in the commentary box throughout this series. And Jaden, I want to say you've done an absolutely fantastic job, my friend. Awesome job tonight. And I'm sure we'll see much more of you in the future. So congratulations for that. Just to say, where can they find you, Jaden, on social media? Jados_Oakley on Instagram. Yeah, just give it a bit of a plug there. And also Jados on Discord as well. There you have it, folks. So you can check out Jaden Oakley there as well. Make sure you do. Obviously, looking ahead, we've got a fantastic championship lying in wait. 3 rounds still remain. Tomorrow we will be back. Same time, same place here live on Twitch on the OFI. That, of course, being the F1, or should we say Oceania F1 Invitational channel, where we will be going racing tomorrow morning at Austria. Of course, Red Bull Ring is our next destination. And, of course, we'll definitely be seeing a lot more action to be had when we go racing there too. And looking forward to seeing whether it will be Al Karud in again. Can he take P1 after another daring move around the final corner? Might be a little tricky through Sector 3 at that particular track. But nonetheless, folks, it has been an absolute privilege. Please make sure as well you check out the OFI group as well here on Twitch. Make sure you leave a follow. Stay up to date. Utilize the links. Head across to social media and also follow the channel. Stay up to date with all the notifications that come through. There's also a Discord server as well that you can get involved with. The links, I'm sure, will be made available by my good buddy Slammer in the live chat as well. He'll send those across to you. But folks, if you want to check me out too, my name is, of course, George Morgan. I'm your commentator for this series. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at George Morgan TV. And I'll be here as your regular feature here at this series. But for now, folks, it's been a privilege. Thank you for joining us. Tomorrow we head to Red Bull Ring. Is it going to be a dramatic one? We'll find out. See you then. Take care. Goodbye.